Hey, what's up, everybody? It's QnCOLB. You know what we do here. We have a new voice that will be entering in from the depths, the ether, or whatever you want to call. I don't know. I'm not saying the right words at all. But shout out to Greg, our producer.
Hey,
Shout out
what's
Ernie
up?
Johnson, man. We found out Ernie Johnson, y'all.
You know, Greg gonna try to point guard this whole thing, gonna try to help us stay on track and all of that. But lot to talk about today. We want to talk about who do you want the Browns to play in the playoffs? How do you want this weekend to fold out for the Cleveland Browns? Donovan Mitchell trade, increasingly less likely. Takes that make us feel old. Is Dan Campbell getting off easy? It's crazy, man. We was just talking about Dan Campbell being coach of the year. Now we start to see them flaws. Now I don't sound like a hater as much anymore, do I, Cole? All right. Is college football changing? We're going to talk about the Bears having the dilemmas of all dilemmas this offseason. Hey, they chose the wrong time to feel like they have a good quarterback. Like, it could not be worse it could not be better / worse for the Bears right now. And we're going to talk about the year of the backup quarterback. Or are y'all just getting scammed? Like, we're going to talk about it all today. But first things first, we're going to hit these Browns we're going to hit this Browns topic. Who do you want the Browns to play? There are multiple ways in which this could fold out. For me personally, I have put it on Twitter. It kind of went nuts, the tweet. I think the best alignment for the Cleveland Browns is Cleveland 5, which we know we're going to have that. We got that locked down, right? Cleveland 5, Jacksonville 4, right? Because I understand we feel like we could beat anybody, but why not play Jacksonville? Like, let's just do that. We earned it. Jacksonville at 4. Texans would be the 6th seed if the Bills don't win or some shit like that. And then the Bills at the 7th seed. Now, here's what you really want as a Cleveland Browns fan. You want the Bills to have the lowest seed possible. The reason you want the Bills to have the lowest seed possible, well, not the lowest seed possible. You just want them to be below you, which is guaranteed, and make the playoffs. Because the Bills are going to beat somebody. They're either going to beat the Dolphins or they're going to beat the Chiefs. Now, if the Texans get in, I also feel like the Texans might beat somebody. And if both of them win and the Cleveland Browns win, the Cleveland Browns effectively become the 2 seed. Because I haven't seen a year where the division winners seem more ripe for an upset than this. You watch Miami, and look, I think Miami will take care of business at home versus Buffalo because they're just not going to get swept. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. And it looks like they're going to have to play each other 3 times. But I don't know if Buffalo gets to sweep Miami. So I think Miami might win that one. But then if they play in the playoffs, I 100% think the Buffalo Bills are going to win that game. Like, they feel like they could win 2 out of 3 against Miami.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah, sure. No, lie to me.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The Bills are about to sweep though. Like they're gonna win. They're gonna win this weekend. They are 100% gonna win this weekend. First of all, Bradley Chubb's out for the season.
Look, Cole, here's where I will hit pause on that take. We are rolling with the Bills right now because we feel like the Bills are hot and the Miami Dolphins are not. I'm sorry. I watched some of that Bills-Patriots game, and them motherfuckers ain't playing as good as people think. Like, no. I was watching Zeke Elliott went off on the Bills, and I'm like, you know what? They
were not playing well. They were not.
I was saying, these are 2 teams that could easily lose to each other. Like, people were so mad at me when I was like, are you assuming that the Bills aren't going to win against the Dolphins? Like, the Bills have been playing good. I'm like, hey, dog, you weren't watching that Patriots game, but let me tell you something. The Zap man gave them a scare, okay? He gave them a real scare. And
hey, respect the Zap man.
Hey,
respect the Zap man.
If the Zap man gives you a scare, guess what? You can lose to the Dolphins. All right? Like the Dolphins have beaten good teams. They have beaten good teams that unfortunately we view as frauds. Like, the Cowboys, but I think it's time for us to let that one go. I was watching the Philadelphia Eagles, Cole, and I was like, that's who we thought the Cowboys were. Ain't the Eagles doing some real Cowboy stuff, including losing to the Cardinals?
I'm gonna be real with you.
Like,
I feel like the entire NFC is frauds for real. I feel like all them teams are a bunch of frauds, dog. I don't believe in any of them. The 49ers are the least fraudish. They are the least fraudish.
It's kind of like a college football argument how I feel about like the NFC, because you know how back in the day, Big Ten fans used to be like, man, the Pac-12 team's soft. You get in their chest, they fold. And I feel the exact same way about the NFC right now. Like, I'm like,
what
you
team
them
in the NFC do you believe in? Do you believe in any of these teams outside of the 49ers? Do you believe in any of them?
I kind of don't believe in the 49ers. I'm like, the Eagles just clearly have not gotten their shit together. And I think it's at the point to where they're just not going to do it. They have played close games every week this season against teams where it makes no sense for them to play. They have lost to the Jets and the Cardinals this year. That don't sound like a team to take care of business to me. I'm like, nah, I can't. I'm no longer in on the Eagles. I was an Eagles over the 49ers guy. This weekend, I was like, you know what? They are who we thought the Cowboys were. Now, to be fair, I understand that the helmet says Cowboys, so we don't take them seriously, because the last significant portion of our life, we have been conditioned to making sure we don't take the Cowboys seriously. But if you look around, they're the one team where you're like, well, they got all the shit they need. Like Dak's better than Brock.
Yeah.
They have good wide receivers. They have a really good defense. Like, you look at the Cowboys, and if it weren't for the fact that they are the Cowboys, and again, they have been super unserious in the playoffs for our entire lives almost, we would be taking them a lot more serious. Like, you notice how this conversation, we kind of forgot the Cowboys fucking existed. Like, we were ready to talk about the Bears. We were ready to talk about the Lions. We were ready to talk about the Eagles. We didn't bring up the Cowboys. The Cowboys are probably the most serious team. But they have been so unserious. I don't even know if I feel that way.
I don't even know if I feel that way for real. Because to be honest with you, they should have lost to the Lions this week. They absolutely should have lost to the Lions. But you know,
we'll get to that.
Well, some favorable things went their way this week. You know, we'll get into that. But I don't trust any of those teams. And I've seen the 49ers whoop all of these teams. We've seen them whoop.
And then you see the 49ers play like an AFC team, and they get
rocked. They get rocked.
So it's like, how can you take them seriously? Like that, like people were like trying to get me to take the 40, like trying to get me back on this 49ers train based on what they did against the Commanders. And I'm like, first of all, game was a little bit of a struggle the first half. Second of all, you beat the Commanders. And Jacoby Brissett didn't play. I don't care. Like, you didn't even beat the best version of the Commanders. Sam Howell had like 3 interceptions in that game. I'm like, all right.
Man, we see what the AFC North has done to the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not afraid of that team. Not afraid of that team at all.
Yeah, I would say it would go. I would say I would be more. It's weird. I don't think the Eagles will make it through. But if the Eagles do figure out a way to get to the Super Bowl, they're clearly the team you would probably fear the most, because if they got their shit together, they're a really, really good team.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys, to me, are right up there with the 49ers. And I guess I take the Cowboys more seriously, because I'm like, at the end of the day, see, look, Dak's better than Brock, but Dak's also like had the book out on him so long that like he's also another one that's hard to take seriously. It's like, what would you do if the 49ers had Kirk Cousins? Like, is Kirk Cousins better than Brock Purdy? You can certainly make the argument. But do you take Kirk Cousins as seriously as you take Brock Purdy? And I don't think the answer is yes. in the playoffs.
I would take the 49ers. I would take the 49ers
in the playoffs.
Infinitely more serious if they had Kirk Cousins.
See, I'm the opposite. I wouldn't. I would. I can't. I'm like, okay, they're going to lose in the first round. Like, they're a better team in every way. They are a better offense in every way. Kirk gonna fuck this up. Like, I have no faith in Kirk Cousins. I have absolutely no faith in Kirk Cousins. And the way I feel about Kirk Cousins is not dissimilar to the lack of faith. Dak is a much, much better quarterback than Brock Purdy. Like, no doubt.
No doubt, mama.
Do I trust Dak? Hell no. I don't trust Dak. I don't trust Dak. I don't trust them uniforms. I don't trust nothing about Dallas. But they probably should be up there.
I'm gonna be real with you. You said they have good receivers, and they have a good receiver. They have a good receiver.
They have good receiver. Nah, Brandon Cooks ain't terrible.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, they got Brandon Cooks. Yeah, they got one of them tight ends out there. You know,
it's not what Philly got. It's not what Philly got. It's not what the 49ers got.
Absolutely not.
I don't even know if it's what the Lions got, to be real with you.
Who they got outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I feel like they got a really good
Okay, Cole, you got to drop this argument, dog. I
might have been being slanderous. I
got a question.
I just don't.
Too.
Yeah.
Let's say if the Browns do end up making it to the Super Bowl, out of all the NFC teams that have a realistic shot at making the Super Bowl, who would you want the Browns to play?
Oh, Jared Goff.
100%.
Yeah, you get in his face. And they just as unlucky as us, so we don't have to worry about like no kind of luck factor. Right, like these are the things you got to consider in a playoff run. Like, you got to play the franchise there. This is why I want the Jacksonville Jaguars, not because they're the worst team that can make it there to the 4th seed, but they just as unlucky as us. Like, they just as unlucky as us, if not more. Okay, and I would want the Chargers too, right? I want the Jaguars. And look, I'm kind of iffy about Kansas City because we are a better team than Kansas City, 100%. But Kansas City do be getting lucky, boy. They be getting lucky. Yeah. They
some bullshit gonna happen if we play the Chiefs. I can already see some bullshit gonna happen.
They be getting lucky. But you know who don't be getting lucky sometimes? Who's a much, much, much better team? The Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs, dog. Like, with Lamar Jackson, they don't be having that luck. It'd be like, yo, this is the day that Derrick Henry decides to throw Earl Thomas out the NFL. That happened.
I forgot about that.
Stiff-armed Earl Thomas. We never heard from a future Hall of Famer again after that.
That's not true.
He did not come back. Oh yeah, we heard from him. We on the field, in the building. We ain't hear from Earl Thomas. All right, we ain't here for Earl Thomas. Derrick Henry did that.
We'll leave it alone.
Yes.
We'll leave it alone.
Ryan, they won 14 games out of 16, and I believe, Cole, 14 of them were in a row. The Ravens did in 2019, and they lost to Ryan fucking Tannehill.
The playoffs is a different beast. It's a different beast.
Hey, man, I'm going to just chalk that up to Greg Roman because there's nothing about this Baltimore team I watch and I go, I want to play that. Like, there's nothing. But there's something in the back of your mind that's like, man, I feel like they just unlucky. Meanwhile, we got to go up and beat a team that eliminates Pat Mahomes. Like, I understand it's a much easier task on paper, but it's Pat. Like, it's Pat, dog. I bet the Toronto Raptors thought they was about to really clean up LeBron in 2018. Like, this is my warning out for teams with the Chiefs, man. Like, I'm so dead serious about this. LeBron in 2018 could happen. Okay, like that could be a LeBron in it don't look like it's about to happen, but guess what, man? We were in Cleveland when it happened. Did we think 2018 was going to happen?
Nope. No
Greg, did you think 2018 was going to happen?
Absolutely not.
No, we were thinking we were going to lose to the Pacers in the first fucking round. We thought that was going to happen.
In the first round.
We thought we was about to lose to Victor Oladipo. We was out there with Rodney Hood as our second best scorer. And then he got hurt.
Oh man.
Yes,
let's not revisit
Jordan Clarkson. Yes, let's not revisit. And this is what I'm saying. We doing all this talk about Pat. All this talk about what Pat don't got. Then we gonna find out. Pat gonna make it work, dog. Like Pat gonna make it work. We gonna get 2018 bronze. Like, do not take the Chiefs lightly. I understand we have every reason to take them lightly, but I think Pat Mahomes is that good to where you could get a 2018 Bron thing from Pat Mahomes. Maybe I'm wrong, but hey, dog. Hey, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen far too many times. I remember people were doing this before the AFC Championship game last year. Oh, Pat's on an ankle. He's hurt. Look at how good the Bengals look versus the Buffalo Bills. They absolutely dismantled them, Quincy. How could you think that the Kansas City Chiefs with Juju Smith-Schuster could compete and Pat beat them motherfuckers? I'm just saying, dog. Like,
hey, different staffs though. Different staffs.
Nah, I'm just saying. Staffs. Hey man, Eric Bieniemy. Yeah. We were talking about how we need to look, man. I'm cold. It's Pat Mahomes. I feel like we out here. Like I've seen people in my comment section be like, "We want the Chiefs." I'm like, "Hey, dog, that's still Pat. I would rather play the Dolphins, right? I would rather play the Dolphins." Like, I don't know about you. I would rather play. Because you know what I know?
I don't want to play the Dolphins. I don't want to play the Dolphins. I don't.
No, we're going to get to that pass rush. They don't have no edge rushers left. Joe going to be able to sit there cool in that Miami weather. You know he old. He need the heat. We going to be fine. An old man in Florida, Cole? You not about to bet on an old man in Florida? Yeah, get on the program, Cole. Come on. Old man in Florida about to get that business done, right?
This is what I'm going to say.
I'd rather play the Bills. I'd rather play the Dolphins. But the Chiefs, I'm just like, hey, man, let's not forget they got the best quarterback in the league. It does matter. It might not matter when they play the Raiders.
When we play, like, when you look at the Chiefs, I told you weeks ago. This is not the same Chiefs team you remember. Though. It's really not.
Colb, I agree with you. It's not the same Chiefs team I remember. It's not. But you know who is the same? Pat Mahomes. And playoff Pat, different. It's different. I would not voluntarily.
Are those receivers going to be different in the playoffs? Is the question.
It might not matter. You heard what Pat been saying. You heard what Pat been saying. I just need to get it to them more perfectly. Hey, dog. I've seen it before. We literally watched this last year. All I'm saying is, hey, man, I would not want to go out my way to play the best quarterback in the last 20 years. Well, the most talented quarterback we've seen in the last 20 years. Arguably, some are making the point that he's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. I feel like we should avoid that. Let the Bills do that. You know what I mean? Let CJ Stroud get a crack at that before we start making these definitive assumptions. Because I don't know, dog. It's still Pat. It's still Pat. Hey,
if we gotta play him, we gotta play him. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of the Chiefs.
Dog, we lost to Pat, and Pat didn't. Cole, we lost to Pat one time in the playoffs, and Pat didn't even play for a whole quarter.
Hey, that was that year. It's not this year. That was that year. It's a whole different defense. I don't know why
people are so willing to go up here and play
different defense. Q, come on now. It's a whole different defense, dog. It's a whole different defense we got.
Nah, come on, man. I know it's a different team.
Who's the safety we had
better
that
since
year?
that game, dog. I'm not voluntarily putting the Browns in the path of Pat.
Who was the safety we had that year? Everybody made fun of. Everybody was making fun of.
Y'all was mean about Andrew Sandejo, by the way. Y'all was mean about him. What was Andrew Sandejo supposed to do? What was he supposed to do back there?
Who else we have back? Hey man, our secondary is way better than it was that year.
Yeah, it is. TJ Mitchell or TJ Carey was our second quarter that year. So yeah, it was better. Speaking of better.
to put a bow on this, I just want to know, Quincy, would you rather play the Ravens or the Chiefs if you had to pick one in the playoffs?
What round?
Chiefs.
I guess
What
second
round?
round would be the most likely, right?
Yeah, I'll take my chances against the Chiefs because look, man,
Chiefs.
I'm waiting to play the Ravens. I'll wait because look, everything I said about Pat kind of goes for Lamar right now. like he's been playing that good. So I guess I would go with that. Like, I'm just like, hey man, if you got a chance to play Tua or Pat, I'm playing Tua. I am 100. I could pressure Tua and get him out of his game. Pat might. They are a very fortunate franchise, and they have the most fortunate quarterback of all time. Nah. I'm good. I'm good on that. I'm good. I don't want to become the Toronto Raptors, the Pat Mahomes legacy. I'm not doing that, dog. I'm good. Let somebody else handle that. If the Chiefs are truly frauds, somebody else will take care of that before it gets to Cleveland. But I done seen this bullshit before. They try to fool us into thinking that Pat's not good anymore, the Chiefs aren't good, and we ain't got to worry about them. Nah, we did this with the Patriots for how many years, Cole? Oh, this is going to be the year the Patriots get eliminated in the first round. Okay, they got to play a road playoff game. They're not going to get to the AFC Championship again.
That's different.
He went to 11 in a row. Okay, nah.
Different.
The best quarterback in the league, you never, ever want to play the best quarterback in the league. Like, if somebody's in that conversation, you don't want to play Lamar, you don't want to play Pat. You never want that to happen because that. Joe Burrow was just top 5 quarterback. Got the sorry ass Bengals 2 AFC Championship games back to back, dog. I like Joe Flacco.
We just got a super chat in regards to this topic from RayRags14. Q, name me a receiver who's even on par with Juju on the Chiefs right now. Pat has been getting sold all year. What makes you think the receivers will just learn to not drop the ball in the playoffs?
Because it's Pat Mahomes. That's what makes me think this, Ray Rags. Like, this has nothing to do with being logical or analytical. I'm not being an analyst right now. I'm just telling you what I feel. It's Pat Mahomes. And this shit just works out. This shit works out.
You can't ignore this, dog. You can't keep ignoring this.
I'm not ignoring it. I promise you. But guess what? I saw Sky Moore catching passes last year. I saw Sky Moore making play. Kadarius I don't care. Tony was out here making plays like, nah, dog.
That was last year, dog. That was last year.
It was last year when it mattered the most. And I'm just saying, we can't judge the Chiefs on what they do in the regular season because they have Pat Mahomes and shit just goes different for them in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Y'all want to run into that Chiefs trade? Y'all go ahead and do it. I would gladly play the Miami Dolphins in the second round. All right.
Those are receivers I'm terrified of. I'm terrified of those receivers.
I would rather be Cole. I would rather you making this about the wide receivers. I don't care. I would rather be terrified of your wide receivers. I don't give about the Bengals. Okay, like I would rather be terrified of your wide receivers. You know who I don't want to be terrified of? Your quarterback. Hey, ex-Texas. Okay, we just watched this game last night. You know what Texas was like? Damn, I wish Michael Phoenix wasn't the quarterback. Like, anything but Michael Phoenix. They got good wide receivers there and everything, dog.
I'm about to say, be fair. They got like 3 different wide receivers who gonna get drafted high.
Yeah, they do. They do. But you know what?
That matters.
Hey, you know what? Texas was like, dog, we gotta get Michael Penix out of there. All right. They weren't like, we got to get these wide receivers out. No, Michael Penix, because that's who they couldn't handle. And that's what I'm saying with Pat. Hey, play with that if you want to. That's still Pat Mahomes. And if you wouldn't play with Brady like this, I don't know why people are willing to play with Pat. But hey, dog, I'm not about to do it. I'm good. I'm not about to be out here hoping to play Pat. No, fuck out of my face. I'm good on that. Like, nah. And you call me scared. You call me terrified. Call me what you want. I call it smart because y'all got all wrapped up in the regular season that y'all think that shit gonna be sweet with Pat Mahomes. I don't care how you try to explain this. That shit ain't about to be sweet. What?
Hey, man. All I'm saying is this. Our corners versus their wide receivers. I love it.
Cole, every matchup makes sense until you get to quarterback. And I feel like that's the most important one. We cannot we cannot sit here and be like, hey man, I love this matchup. I love this matchup. Who's playing quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs? Because if it's 15, then dog, I'd rather play the Dolphins. I've seen this story before. And look, the person, Ray Rags, I know you sent that super chat. I know I'm alone on this island for now. I was alone on this island last year in the playoffs where I was like, hey dog, it's still last year.
I was here last year.
Yeah, now just sub Juju Smith-Schuster for MVS and watch MVS start making catches miraculously. And then you go tweet. I can't believe this making catches now against the Browns. Like, of course he want to make catches now. Like, we act like we don't know how the script writers play with Pat Mahomes. But let's get into a different script. The Donovan Mitchell trade. I feel like the more this goes on, the more Donovan Mitchell is likely to sign a very sad 2-year deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Why I gotta be sad?
Because he don't want to be here. He was trying to go other places, and then he looked around. Look, this is like he looked around at the club. The lights were on, and you know who he saw? Who he came here with. And he got to go back with who he came here with, knowing that he was trying to do other things. And Donovan, he might have to come back. Because who got a better situation in Cleveland right now he can go to?
Okay, so let's talk about it. Because we missing some context here. The Knicks traded for OG Anunoby. That pretty much wrapped up any possibility of him getting traded to the Knicks. Now, like that's look at it from two perspectives. Look at it from the Knicks' perspective. Why would they want Donovan Mitchell at this point? They already have a small guard who's very good, who, let's be honest, has cracked Donovan Mitchell's head open in back-to-back postseasons in 2 different conferences in Jalen Brunson. He's outplayed him twice. Why do they need?
Not just outplayed him. Donovan wasn't even competing with them. It was Darius that was trying to hoop with him. It wasn't even Donovan. We was like, it's Darius and Jalen going at it, I guess, because Donovan was just non-existent in that series. But.
Exactly. So if you're the Knicks, you're like, why do we need him? We got a small guard who we could argue is just as good as he is,
and he's more expensive.
What is the point? And you want 2 small guards? I keep hammering this, and people keep ignoring me. 2 small guards, investing a lot of your resources into 2 small guards being the best players on your team is not going to work out well. It's just not going to.
Who got mad at, like, I think Becky Hammond said something very similar to that, and I think people got mad at her. And I'm like, she's right. What are you, like, why are we, I don't know. Sometimes people lose their mind about certain takes. And like, Becky Hammond's like, is smart about basketball as anybody. She's really accomplished as a coach.
She's a very accomplished basketball player. She knows what she's talking about.
And she was like, hey, if your best player is small, you probably not go with it. Oh, and then people were like, oh, I can't believe she said that about Jalen Brunson. And I'm like, how do y'all not understand this, dog? Like, you really think Knicks fans are crazy. So they might think that Jalen Brunson can win it all. But, like, let's be real. Who's been the best player on the championship teams that have won recently? The only small guy is Steph Curry, and
he's like 6'4". He's like 6'3", 6'4".
He's like 6'3", 6'4", and that Golden State Warriors system is a little bit different, right? And he's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time.
Yeah, like,
by far.
Come on now.
To a generation of people who watched Ray Allen in his prime.
Like, if you're looking for the small guards that won titles, it's Steph, kinda, sorta, and really Isaiah Thomas with the Pistons, the bad boy Pistons. That's pretty much you're talking about 2 of the 3 greatest point guards of all time, by the way. Like, so unless your small guard on your team is one of the best point guards ever, you're not winning no title if he's the best.
And then look at the supporting cast. Like, they still those bad boy Pistons loaded. The Golden State Warriors, look, all but one of those championship teams were loaded. And the one that's not loaded is only not loaded because Kevin Durant's not on the team anymore. Like that. Otherwise, it was kind of, and Jordan Poole would have made a fool of himself. Like, so we can't tell y'all what Jordan Poole used to mean.
Even like, look at those Warriors teams that won. Finals MVP. Andre Iguodala, wing. Kevin Durant got the next two, obviously, wing. And then the last one, when they beat the Celtics, Steph got that one. You see what I'm saying?
Steph got that one. But also, Andrew Wiggins was huge defensively. Also,
second best
constant in this. A constant in this, and look, we'll never be able to have a regular conversation about this man because he similarly to Jordan Poole in completely different ways, and ironically enough, has made a fool of himself in his later career. Draymond Green, very, very important player in getting away with what the Warriors wanted to do, especially in the early era of that to the later era of it, because like Draymond does have a significant impact on that system. But we ain't never gonna talk about Draymond like that again. It's just unfortunate, Draymond. It's unfortunate. Like, he was already a tough subject to talk about because his stuff didn't like translate into numbers. But boy, oh boy, we're gonna have a hard time explaining Draymond to the young people. But Greg, that reminds me of something that you told me about that I want to discuss on this show. Can you inform the audience?
Yeah, so I was doing a little TikTok scrolling the other day, and I saw a couple crazy takes back to back, and I just want to get you guys to react to it. So I saw, and keep in mind, this had a few thousand likes. People were agreeing with this. A TikTok that referred to Cam Newton as overhyped Jamarcus Russell. And then I'm not even joking. A few scrolls later, I saw somebody say he had the worst MVP season of all time.
I heard this code and I thought to myself, I'm officially starting to get old because the babies are talking out their ass when it comes to Cam Newton. It's like they have no clue what they are talking about when it comes to Cam, man. They don't understand this. And I feel like, I think what I said, it was like kind of like Warren Moon, where it's like, hey man, there's gonna be a whole generation of people who don't understand this. And Cam Newton is officially in Warren Moon territory. Yes, they called him overhyped Jamarcus Russell. They said he had the worst MVP season of all time. Nobody who lived through this feels this way about Cam.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
This is why we got to start telling younger people to shut the fuck up, dog. Like, what? This is exactly why we need to start telling them to shut the fuck up. Like, did you watch Cam? First of all, Cam Newton, single greatest season in college football history. Don't care what anybody else has to say about it. The greatest college football season we have ever seen from a
Joe Burrow clears, bro.
Shut up. Shut up. Joe Burrow was throwing in like 4 first-round picks and a second-round pick.
Joe Burrow played on the NFL team in college.
He played on the NFL team, dog.
Let me tell you something. There's not a single NFL player on that Auburn team. Like, there's Nick Fairley and there's Michael Dwyer.
It was Nick Fairley, Michael Dwyer, and Cam Newton. Please shut up. Just shut up. Shut up.
It's like Nick Fairley was a first-round pick on the defense, but Michael Dwyer was like a 7th-round pick.
Come on, man.
He wasn't even like that.
What Cam did at Auburn it's gonna go down
straight out of community college, dog.
Community college, bro. Joe Burrow was playing at Ohio State when he traded.
Yeah, Joe. Look, Cam Newton was playing at high school fields the year before he did that shit at Auburn. Like,
man,
in front of 25 people at a community college, and it just went to Auburn and played over everybody. And people get mad when he has the nerve to say the truth, like he's better than Tim Tebow. Yes, he was better than Tim Tebow in every way. He was better than Tim Tebow. People get mad when you bring that up. Like, it's not true. Oh, well, look at the accomplishments that Tim Tebow had. If Cam Newton played 5 years in college, or however long Tim Tebow played in college, Cam Newton would have 4 national championships. Like, I promise you, there was nothing. Tim Tebow, could you imagine Cam Newton with Percy Harvin? Like, throwing to all them criminals that were exceptional in football in Florida? Could you imagine Cam Newton?
Hey, respect those upstairs gentlemen. Respect those upstairs gentlemen, please.
You imagine Cam Newton throwing to Aaron Hernandez. Like,
Oh man,
Cam ain't had a single. Cam has had like 2 players in his NFL career better than him. Like Greg Olsen,
yeah. Steve Smith.
And Steve Smith wasn't there that long with Cam. Nah, dog. Nah, people forgot. People forgot how awful the Carolina Panthers teams were. Like, you know what the Carolina Panthers are right now? They've been like that since Cam left. All right, like that's who they are.
Man,
people forget
that team. He drugged that team to a
dog,
Super Bowl.
every quarterback that exists now that gets that like top, they exist because Cam did it. Like Cam did it and made us realize it. There is no Josh Allen without Cam Newton. Josh Allen will be playing tight end somewhere. Like
it's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me that everybody loves Josh Allen but tries to hate on Cam. How is that possible? He is literally Caucasian Cam Newton. That's who he is. That's who Josh Allen is. It's so ridiculous, dog.
And it got me thinking, Cole, not just football players, what athletes do people who were born after 2006 will they never understand? Like, people will never understand the joy of J.R. Smith's career, is what that Greg put up earlier, where he's like, you know what, J.R. Smith not gonna make sense to a lot of people because they just gonna see him as a good role player, like Robert Horry. And to people who grew up in the J.R. Smith era, nah, dog. People thought he was gonna be Melo's number 2. Like,
They wasn't there. They wasn't there.
They don't know about J.R. Smith that can dunk.
Y'all, they don't know about that. They don't know about that.
It's like when J.R. Smith is like, it's like talking about Ray Allen on the Milwaukee Bucks. Where you're like, oh, you don't know about the slasher, Ray Allen.
Hey, you don't know about Ray when they used to tell you don't jump. Don't jump.
You don't know about Jesus. Like,
Oh, Jesus.
You don't know why he was in that movie, right? Like,
oh, you know who they not gonna know about? You know who they're not gonna really know about? Because they know about Kobe. You know what I'm saying? They know about Kobe.
Yeah.
Everybody know about Kobe.
Oh, you talking about Powell?
No, they're not gonna know about T-Mac and Vince. They're not gonna understand. They're not gonna understand what T-Mac and Vince meant.
T-Mac for sure.
They're not gonna understand.
For sure. By the way, Jeff T got the funniest T-Mac story.
Funniest T-Mac story of all time.
He's like, hey, man, it's T-Mac. I'm like, hey, man, it's T-Mac. He in a caddy. It's a big-ass Gucci clothes. And then he's like, this who started from me? And now it's fuck T-Mac.
He's hilarious. Jeff T is the funniest man in the media. I promise you.
But yeah, like Tracy McGrady is one that we will never understand the greatness of. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some football players that we won't. I don't think people will ever appreciate Mike Allscott.
Oh,
yeah, because they're gonna think he was just a fullback. No. Who else will go underappreciated for their entire career, right? Because there's guys who I feel like are always going to be appreciated because it was so brief that it's noticeable, like a Josh Gordon. People are always going to be like, people are always going to be able to defend that one. But then there are guys who, like, it's kind of this combination of like they stuck around too long, right? So that people have like a bad, it almost happened to AP.
Phillip Rivers comes to mind.
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He was a victim of the Chargers though. Like you just think of him and you think of the Chargers and then you start laughing. Like when I think of Phillip Rivers, I don't think about all the great shit he did. I'd be like, nah, that was LT. You know what I think about with Phillip Rivers? Number 1 offense, number 1 defense. Missed the playoffs.
Couldn't get it done.
Couldn't even make the playoffs. Let's see. I feel like Eli is gonna rightfully get forgotten. Like I think we're just gonna forget about Eli.
No,
Tony Romo has already started to get overrated, and I'm like, people don't understand. Tony Romo had a certain reputation in the league.
We're never gonna forget Eli. We're never gonna forget Eli because he beat Tom Brady twice. So we never go forget Eli.
Just because he related to Peyton don't go away either. Let's see. Quarterbacks are going to be hard to put in this cat. Ooh, Jamal Charles.
Oh,
Jamal Charles.
Man, special.
Mm-hmm.
Special.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
we can really do this with running backs. We can do this with running backs a lot because there's a bunch of running backs.
I feel like nationally, Josh Cribbs is going to fall into this conversation. Locally, people will never forget about. But even if the Browns have more success and like the stuff that happened in the 2000s becomes less and less relevant because we're not clinging on to shit that happened in 2004 like we used to anymore, I do feel like Josh Cribbs is unfortunately going to start to. People are going to forget that he was cold like that. Like I could already see some 13-year-old in his chat like, bro, you were just a special teamer. Like he was the most special teamer. Like, what you mean? Just a special team. Like,
teams were terrified of Joshua Cribbs. Let me tell you
that was all we had.
All we had.
Hey, the fact that we rolled Josh Cribbs to 6 wins one time is crazy. Like,
all we had was Josh and Phil. That was it.
Yep. It was Josh and Phil and whoever was putting that thing because we had the booty offense, man. That was the original Brian Daboll. The booty Colt McCoy. Oh, man, I hated that team. I hated it. But are there any other athletes to people who were born after a certain age they will understand? Because I feel like with basketball players, this is a super interesting conversation. Like, you know who else is in this one? Dwayne Wade.
Is he here? Are we here with D-Wade now?
The kids know Dwayne Wade was good. They don't understand Dwayne Wade led a championship team. Like, they don't understand they know Dwayne Wade that played with Bron, which after year one was a significantly different Dwayne Wade than like what Dwayne Wade was. They don't know about the Flash. Like, they know about flashes. Oh, Chris Bosh is one that we're going to forget too.
Yeah, Chris Bosh is definitely one.
I think people, like, it's going to be interesting to hear people talk about the big three because to people who grew up in it, we're like, man, that was such a dominating force. To the kids, they're going to be like, who the is Chris Bosh?
I'm like, you know what I'm going to tell them? Shut up. Just shut up. Go
like,
look up some Toronto Raptors highlights, please.
Remember when people got mad when people were like, hey, Evan Mobley reminds me of Chris Bosh. Bro, that's disrespectful.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah,
because Chris Bosh was like that back in the day.
Yes, because Chris Bosh was crazy good, bro. Chris Bosh was the most annoying thing about them Heat teams when you was rooting on them to lose. Like when you was a young hater in Cleveland, like me, I always say, "Hey, Chris Bosh, like, he always gets a rebound, he always gets a block. Why he making threes now?" Like I hated him.
Chris Bosh was cold. He was cold. Hey, you know who else gonna be cold? Kids not gonna know about?
Who?
Chris Webber.
C
Webb.
I think we're well into that territory.
C Webb was so cold. If C Webb played now, they would be calling him one of the best players ever.
He's such a four-dimensional player.
Man, he can do it. He can do it. Are we there with Shaq yet? Do the kids not know about Shaq?
No, kids will always know about Shaq.
Okay,
Shaq ain't never gonna let them forget. Like Shaq ain't. Come on now.
We got another super chat here from RayRags14 on this topic. I've already heard people downplay Jerry Rice. If you can downplay Jerry Rice, you can downplay anyone.
Man, Jerry Rice still arguably the GOAT. Still.
It depends on what conversation people are having with Jerry Rice, because I will die on this hill. Jerry Rice is more accomplished than Randy Moss. But if I have to pick one receiver for a game, I'm getting Randy.
Is it the Bron MJ debate? Is it the Bron MJ debate with them?
I don't know if it's the Bron MJ.
MJ's more accomplished, but you would pick Bron?
I would pick Randy. And I think it's kind of on similar lines where I'm like, well, I know for a fact Randy gonna work. Like there are percentages of doubt with Jerry Rice, where it's like, hey, can you throw him a bunch of 50-50 balls? Can he run up? Like, can he do this and that? Like, you know what he could do well. Like, he could do the West Coast stuff well. But, like, Randy, it don't fucking matter. like, you could just throw it to Randy. Like, the only time it didn't work with Randy Moss was when Kerry Kittle decided he didn't want to throw it up to Randy. That he wanted Randy to be Jerry Rice. right? Like that's what happened with them in Oakland. Then Tom Brady, to his credit, and why he's one of the smartest quarterbacks of all time, was smart enough to be stupid. I'ma just throw that shit up to Randy. Like, what you mean, Randy don't run this, right? Like, you know what Randy run? Touchdowns into the end zone. That's what he run. Ball, Randy, get it. Randy Moss is like, you know how people talk about throwing lobs to LeBron? Like, I just throw him a bad lob just to see how he could get it. Yeah, that's what quarterbacks was doing to Randy Moss. Like, I threw him a bad ball just to see if he could catch that shit. He did. Like, he toe tapped it, did the little bird, and then walked off. Like,
yeah, but I'm taking Randy. I'm
taking Randy for one game. And look, there's probably somebody who's 20 years older than us is like, this is why these young people need to shut the fuck up.
Yep, and I respect that. I 100% respect that. I respect that stance.
Taking Randy over Jerry Rice. Do you know? I want to know if there's a hive of people who believe that Joe Montana was carried by Jerry Rice. Because you have to imagine that there were. Like, I know how this stuff goes. Like, sports talk ain't changed that much. I know there are people like, yeah, man, Joe Montana's a Randy Moss. I mean, not a Randy Moss, a Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice merchant. He's a Jerry Rice.
They be talking. I wonder if they talk about Joe Montana in some circles like we talk about Brock Purdy. Like, and maybe that's why San Francisco fans don't see him as that different.
Oh man,
Joe
Montana's a Jerry Rice merchant.
Hey, dog. Hey.
Oh, we need to start that.
You think about that, right? You think about, like, if we just view what happened back then in the context of this time. Hey, man, if they thought he was like that, they wouldn't have drafted, wouldn't have traded for Steve Young. Right? Like, that's a move you do when you feel like you got like a regular guy at quarterback. Like, I promise you, there is a significant hive of people who are willing to say Joe Montana was luggage, brother. He was luggage for Dwight Clark and Jerry Rice. Luggage. I don't know. Those people have not gained prominence because simply they have been proven wrong by the amount of success that Joe Montana has had. But I promise you, if we time travel back to Joe Montana's day, oh yeah, there's going to be a newspaper article or two. There's going to be some sentiment out there. It's going to feel awfully familiar to how we be talking about Brock. Like because they also compare every quarterback that they ever have to Joe Montana. I'm like, that indicates to me a certain lack of respect for him. Like, if you compare Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy immediately to Joe Montana, you don't respect him. Like, think about Steelers fans respect Big Ben. They don't even think about comparing any of these sorry-ass quarterbacks they got to Ben Roethlisberger. Like, all the ridiculous bullshit we have heard Pittsburgh fans say this year. And they don't even think about it. They don't even think about touching that one. But, man, 49er fans be out here throwing that Joe Montana thing out like butter. And I'm just saying, maybe there might be a hive of Joe Montana got carried fans in the San Francisco market. I would love to find out, because if it happened today, like,
I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna have to find an article, a newspaper article, somebody saying it's all Jerry Rice.
Hey, dog, we did this with Tom Brady till 2018. People forget. Like, up until 2017, we were saying that Tom Brady was a Bill Belichick merchant. That only changed 6 years ago.
And now we call it Bill. And
Brady. Now it's like that whole era never existed, Cole. Like think about that. So I want to know when the era for Joe Montana ended. He's not like Dan Marino. Like, oh, I bet it was some wild shit being said about him. All right.
Hey, perfect transition, though. Perfect transition. We got to talk about it, though. We got to talk about the Steelers. We got to talk about the Steelers.
We're going to jump to 7. All right.
we got to do it now. You mentioned it. We got to talk about it.
Hey, Pittsburgh fans. I love seeing them get Brian Hoyered right now, dog. They getting Brian Hoyered so hard. And they don't know it. Like, this is the thing. They've been so fortunate that they think anything that happens on the football field is good luck.
They don't even know.
They don't even know what's about to happen to them. Like, you know how we get this, like when Joe Flacco emerged, it took us 4 straight weeks for us to be like, this is a good thing. We can accept it. We don't have to think about the possible negative outcomes to this. We can just appreciate it. It took us until the Browns clinched a playoff game for us to be like, oh, yay. Steeler fans get 2 weeks of Mason Rudolph and they're already there, brother. And they don't realize we built up that callus for a reason. Okay? Because we've been Brian Hoyered, Derek Anderson far too many times.
Not Derek Anderson.
Yeah, they getting the original Baker Mayfield. Yeah, the original look. Everything about Derek Anderson screams proto Baker Mayfield, down to the arm strength and the arm talent and the inconsistencies and the interceptions. Like, tell me that's not a similar experience.
Very similar experience. But this is my thing.
Even though Baker Mayfield is more consistent than Derek Anderson is, which isn't saying much, but is saying something.
I mean, it's something for Baker. But this
Derek
is my
never
issue.
had 3 good years.
No, he didn't. He did. Steelers fans need to recognize this, though. And I don't think they recognize this.
Ooh, someone said Maurice Jones-Drew.
Ooh,
yeah, that's a good
Maurice Jones-Drew. Yeah, I'm telling you, you could do this with running backs all the time. You would get a bunch that are good. But anyway, we're getting off topic. Steelers fans didn't realize this was the year you were supposed to be bad. Like, this was the year you were supposed to be like, you were supposed to get like 5 wins, 4, something like. This was the year you were supposed to take that step back. So you could get your quarterback, and then you could take your step forward.
Hold it down.
But this is what you've done. They are staring down being 10-7 and still not making the playoffs. And you're not going to be able to get the quarterback that you want. You may have to bring Mason Rudolph back. That may be the reality.
Here's the thing about getting Brian Hoyered. You convince yourself you don't need a quarterback is the problem, right? Because you tell yourself, why would I spend a draft pick on a guy when I can just get me another wide receiver for the guy? Or you do the even worse thing, which, look, when you do it on draft day, all these draft dorks tell you it's a good idea. And I'm just telling you, 20 years of Browns history tells me the shit is overrated. You trade back, you get a bunch of picks, and then you're like, oh, look at all this talent we're going to surround Mason Rudolph with, or Kenny Pickett. Because here's the other nefarious part about this conversation. They have no idea if Kenny Pickett still is any good either. And look, I have an idea of if Kenny Pickett's good or not. They don't. They still think that might work. They think that Mason Rudolph might work. And Mike Tomlin is not a risk taker at that position. They gonna come back here, Cole, and the only dude they about to replace is Mitchell Trubisky. Yes.
They don't get it.
Yes.
They don't get it. They don't see it. They're about to talk themselves into drafting a QB probably later on.
Oh, no.
That's what I'm telling you. They go draft a QB, but it's going to be like in the later rounds, mid rounds, later rounds, something like that.
No, you know what they're going to do? They're going to sign a veteran. Because here's the thing. Mitchell Trubisky is only on the team because he's the only quarterback with significant experience. So if you're going to rock with the Kenny Pickett thing, you know who you end up signing, Cole? Josh Dobbs. Yep. He's coming back. Josh Dobbs. Or
the Pastronaut.
Mm-hmm.
The astronaut is back.
And you know you ain't about to get none of that good shit because he know the offense. Like he done burnt all of his not knowing stuff. This is that look, it gets far grimmer than that. It's not even gonna get as grim as, oh, we're gonna draft the quarterback in the 4th round. You might not draft a quarterback at all. And that's even grimmer because you're gonna give Mason Rudolph a shot. I'm here for it. But let's talk about the larger conversation with backup quarterbacks. Greg brought this up while we were planning the show, and it's a great point. How many times this year has a backup quarterback had like a game or two that were good and then became the face of the NFL, basically, like almost immediately, where they're like, oh my God, look at what Josh Dobbs is doing. Josh Dobbs' Linsanity was crazy because that's exactly what it was. It was Linsanity through 2 teams. And both of those teams, by the end of that run, were absolutely sick of Josh Dobbs. Like, people are talking about this.
You know what's crazy? Everybody was talking about how much we should have kept Josh Dobbs. The Browns should have kept Josh Dobbs. And I was like, have y'all watched him play in Arizona? Because he stinks. He's terrible.
He's
horrible.
Everybody loved Josh Dobbs who did not have to watch Josh Dobbs. Because when I talked to the people who covered the Arizona Cardinals about them starting Clayton Tune, they weren't like, yeah, we traded Josh Dobbs and now we're gonna, I don't know, man. They were like, hey, dog, we started Clayton Tune, baby. They was excited about this. They were excited about this in Arizona. That's how sick of Josh Dobbs shit they were by the end of it. They were like, yeah, let's get rid of him. They were sick of him.
He got benched for Nick Mullins.
And then Nick Mullins got benched for somebody else. Jared Benton. Like, they don't even consider him. That's how sick Kevin O'Connell is of his. Like, I don't know what it is. I think Josh Dobbs be out there freestyling, dog. I think he'd be like, yeah, now that I know the offense, I'm about to put my own spin on it. Like,
brother, that's not what we need.
Hey, look. You don't get traded by 2 teams because, like, your coach loves you. That's just not what happens here. Kevin got rid of him. Kevin was like, I'd rather have a rookie back up Deshaun.
Hey, remember when Andrew Berry got that 5th round pick and people were mad?
Yeah. But, like, I think people don't understand. Kevin was sick of his shit. That's why he traded him. Because they were probably going to cut him. They were probably going to cut him. They brought in PJ Walker instantly. That's a move of a team that we're going to move off of Josh Dobbs. Like, I think people don't understand that about the whole Josh Dobbs. The Browns were going to cut him. They were sick of him. Remember how bad he was everybody who went to training camp was like, he looks terrible.
DTR thoroughly outplayed him. Yeah. Every opportunity. He outplayed.
But the point is, like, everybody who's had Josh Dobbs has eventually gotten tired of it. Hey, man, remember he started them 2 games against Tennessee? They didn't bring him back. Like, it's not him personally. He's a good dude. It's just something about how he plays football drives your offensive coordinator nuts. But other backup quarterback, remember Jake Browning? Look, the second Jake Browning had that clip come out about they shouldn't have cut me, I was like, oh, they jumped
all downhill.
Yeah, they jumped
all downhill from
they jumped shark. Yeah, that was the peak. That was the peak of that moment. Like, that was it. You jumped the shark. That was as good as it's ever gonna get with Jake Browning. Because he didn't even play well in that game. Like, he had like a pick 6 in every game he played, and people were telling me he was just as good as Joe Burrow. It's like, come on.
All of Jake Browning's starts just reinforced what I've thought about the Bengals this entire time.
Greg, do you have any other backup quarterbacks that we kind of got? Tyler Badgett was one.
Yeah, I think my favorite out of all of these was people were legitimately asking this question of are the Giants going to have to make a tough decision on Daniel Jones's contract because of how Tommy Cutlets is playing?
The tough decision on Daniel Jones' contract came when they gave that motherfucker this contract. They knew they didn't need to give him. They knew they didn't need to give him that. That's the thing that's hilarious about it. People are coming back on that. Was that contract a mistake? Oh, you mean the contract we all acknowledged was a mistake exactly when it happened?
Give that man Saquon's money. Give that man Saquon's money for absolutely no reason.
They didn't even, I remember in the press release, it wasn't even like they believed in him. They were like, hey, man, we're going to give him a shot for $40 million. You can't get anybody to explain the Daniel Jones contract in a sense of, well, he earned it and he's good enough to justify it. I've never heard anybody make that argument for Daniel Jones' money. They make the argument of money based on the market. They be talking about Daniel Jones as if you bought a bad stock. They be like, yeah, man, but you have to understand the value of quarterbacks is inflated right now. So you just have to pay that much to have a chance at a guy you knew he stunk and you still bought him at $40 million. That's
you know what's crazy about the Giants? You know what's even crazier about the Giants, though?
What?
Tommy DeVito not even the best backup quarterback on the roster, and people was behind him. Like, that was nuts. That was nuts.
Tyrod. Yes. But here's the thing. Called. I think somebody in chat brought this up. You know what I'm most surprised of? It's been a year to backup quarterback. We've been hyping up backup quarterbacks like crazy, and Gardner Minshew ain't getting no love right now. That's nuts to me. They passing up on giving They just tired of Gardner. They tired of the trailer talk. They tired of the trailer park stuff. They tired of the he drives a car for 19. They done milked that one to the bone. And now when he got a season worth milking, they don't even care. Colts. Like, they don't give about the Colts right now, dog.
Hey, this reminded me. Colin Cowherd's best take ever. Colin Cowherd's best take ever is when he said Gardner Minshew and Baker Mayfield were the same exact guy. Best take ever. That's his best take ever.
Whatever little piece of a Baker stand is still left in me, that one hurts. Oh, that hurts.
I'm sorry. That hurts. I bet you if you pull up their stats right now, you're gonna be like, dang.
Greg, can you do that for us? Can you pull up some of these splits between Gardner Minshew and Baker Mayfield? Because I refuse to believe that they're anywhere near similar. They can't be similar, right? Like,
hey, but guess what? The Colts winning more, and they play better teams.
Yeah. Also, like, where I worry about Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. If this is how far you got with a good Baker year.
Ooh, next year is coming too.
I hope that other shoe don't drop, dog. You know
it's coming.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember trying to avoid these conversations when Gardner Minshew first burst onto the scene. It was during a bad Baker year. I believe it was 2019. And I was like, it's not true. Baker's still the guy.
Colin got that one. He got that one right. I didn't go care. He got that one right.
All right, I got their 2023 passing stats here. So Baker, his completion percentage is 64.4. He's thrown for 3,907 yards. He's averaging 7.3 yards per attempt. He's got 28 touchdowns and 10 picks. And then Gardner Minshew, give me 1 second here.
You got to add the rushing touchdowns with Gardner, too, because he has had like 5 of them, I think.
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. This year, give me 1 second. I got all right. His completion percentage for Gardner this year is 62.7. He's thrown 3,164 yards, averaging 6.8 per completion. 15 touchdowns, 9 picks. They both, funny enough, have the exact same longest throw, which is 75 yards. Let me find Gardner's rushing stats real quick.
How many games does Gardner play? Because Anthony Richardson was out there for a little bit.
Like -3 games.
Let's see. This is ESPN is saying 16 games played, but that's There's no way that's right?
Well, he came in he came in a couple times. So like, yeah, look at games started. So he came in a couple times because remember Anthony Richardson got a concussion early in the year and then he hurt his shoulder.
Yeah, let me see how many games he started and I'll pull up his rushing stats too.
So the little Baker fan in me that still exists. We still thriving, baby. He's so still better than Gardner Minshew. He clears Gardner Minshew, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Don't worry.
He's the best.
We'll be back.
He's the headband bandit still, undefeated. He's the headband bandit, not Gardner. You know? And look, shout out to Baker. About to walk off like a bandit at the bank. Hopefully, hey, look, don't let him franchise tag you, Baker. That's a trap because then you ain't gonna get no money. Nah,
hey, Baker,
dog.
get your money.
Hey,
get
4-year deal. 4-year deal. 4-year deal. Take less money to make yourself uncuttable. Like this 4-year deal, get 20 mil per guaranteed each year, so they can't cut you when you having one of them stankers. Right? No, my bad. 3-year deal, right? Because it's gonna be bad year the first year. Nope. 4-year deal. Bad year the first year, good year. So 2-year deal or 4-year deal. Even numbers. All right. Keep the money train going. Keep the money train going, Bank. Hey, do what Jay Cutler did. You basically him. Is he not Jay Cutler?
He's basically Jay Cutler. I can't lie.
He's Jay Cutler. And what was Jay Cutler at his best when he had Brandon Marshall? What's Baker Mayfield doing right now? He got his Brandon Marshall. When did we forget Jay Cutler existed? Right around the time Brandon Marshall left.
Hey, but since we're talking about year to backup, we got to acknowledge it. Every single backup quarterback on the Browns saved the season.
We need to get PJ Walker to the Pro Bowl.
Like, if you really think about it, if you really, really think about it, they needed every single one of the wins they got with their backups. 49ers, we needed that one. The Colts game with PJ, we needed that one for sure.
No, that wouldn't made it so that we can clinch the 5 seed this early.
Yeah. And then DTR in Cleveland against the Steelers. Hey, if we lose that game, we might be screwed.
Yeah, they all made pivotal throws in drives in those games to help the Browns get here. So all the Browns backup quarterbacks have been stepping up, especially Joe Flacco. And tell you, man, what I tell you about this Stefanski pantry, it stays fresh. It stays fresh. I wonder who they're going to add to it next year.
Michael Penix,
Jalen Daniels. Hey, I'll be at the Senior Bowl. I'll be at the Senior Bowl with my binoculars, figuring out who we about to steal next. All right. Greg, talk about Dan Campbell. Do you have a theory about Dan or a take about this whole situation? I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I just think I want to be very clear. The Lions definitely got screwed by the refs at the end of that game. No question. However, Dan Campbell going for 2 when he's backed up to a 7 and then again on his 4, I think that was absolutely insane, especially from the 7. And it got me thinking, like, if Kevin Stefanski ever did that, if Kevin Stefanski was backed up to his 7-yard line and still goes for 2, when you could just easily tie it up, and then that plays goes horribly, and you got another chance, but you still go for 2, they'd kill him. They'd wait for the plane, and it'd be over for him. So I just feel like personally, Dan Campbell's getting very lucky. Everybody's mad at the refs because what a wild choice to still insist to go for 2 from your 7-yard line when you could just tie the game up.
I haven't seen that much questionable goal line decision making since, ironically, a Browns game in Detroit. Do you guys remember which one I'm talking about?
I don't remember which one you're talking about.
Y'all don't remember Hugh Jackson sneaking the ball for the 5-yard line with 2 seconds left?
Man, there we go.
No timeouts?
I knew it was going to be a painful memory. I tried very hard to forget.
That was the Deshaun Kaiser year, right? We didn't win a game that year. Yep. Absolutely. Love it. But Cole, what do you, this kind of your team, man. This kind of your squad. You have become the de facto Detroit Lions guy on the pod. So I'm going to need you to defend your king.
I became the Lions guy because I picked him to win the division. That's crazy.
You were so adamant about them winning that division.
I was right.
You were.
I was right.
Defend your king.
Listen, I'll say this. He absolutely got robbed at the end of the game by the refs, like 100%. But this is my thing, though. This is my thing. Okay, we getting hosed by the refs. I understand that he just wanted to win the game and just get it over with. But, dog, if something terrible like that happens after the 2-point conversion, we kicking the extra point afterwards. Like, we just gonna kick the extra point. We're gonna go into overtime, and we're gonna figure it out from there. I completely understand why he was upset because the first one didn't work out. But we got to move on, big dog. We just got to move on. Things happen in games. Yeah, we get hold right now by the rest, but it is what it is. Let's kick this. Let's kick this extra point. It's the Cowboys. We probably gonna have a good shot to win the game in overtime. Let's just do that. He should have did that. He should have done that. I can't believe that he insisted on trying to go for 2 and win the game. That was ridiculous. I can't defend that. I can't defend it. I can't.
Also, Lions have been a little liony the last few weeks. Can we call it that?
We can call it that.
You know, like they've won some games, but it's like, ooh, that was closer than we thought that the Lions should win that game. How do I put this, Cole? If I'm in the NFC playoffs, I see the Lions kind of like food. I don't know about you. I don't know if anybody is good enough in that wild card picture to legitimately see them as food. But boy, they were in the AFC, they're food. We're talking about them like, yeah, we want them.
I mean, you would say that for a bunch of NFC teams they played if they were in the AFC.
Yeah.
We feel
they lost to the Bears. They almost lost to the Vikings. Hey, dog.
I'll put it like this. They're food for the other division winners. I don't know if they food for the wild card teams in the NFC. I don't know if they should.
Let's see who they're supposed to play this year. They are supposed to. They play the Rams. I'm taking the Rams.
Yeah, I'd take
3-6. I would take and that's exactly what I mean about the Lions. All right.
Taking the Rams, 100%.
We out here betting on Matt Stafford.
Hey, Super Bowl champion, Matt Stafford. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Because hey, by the way, Baker Mayfield versus the Eagles.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, the way the Eagles playing, hey, Bake, might be your moment, big dog.
You think so?
No, not at all. Hey, but Matt Stafford going back in Detroit.
They beat everybody. Wait, here's the thing about the Eagles, man. They've beaten everybody by like 3 points, except for when they played the Buccaneers. They did beat them by like 14 or something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, Packers, Cowboys. Cowboys will get out the first round this year.
Are the Packers in the playoffs?
Yeah, they're the 7th seed right now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Jordan Love might be pretty good.
Right now, the playoff picture, here's the teams that have clinched the playoffs. Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, Browns. Let's go.
The Browns.
At 11-5, by the way. We have clinched a 5 seed. I hate our division. You. Do you realize we would be the division winner in literally every other division almost, except for like the AFC North and the NFC West?
Every other division would be the
we would be in the East, in the North, in the South, both NFC and AFC. The Browns would be the division winner. And then the 49ers, Cowboys, Lions, Eagles and Rams have clinched in the NFC. Rams have clinched with 9 fucking wins. They can rest their starters. They've won 9 games.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it's crazy, nice. Right? It's crazy. Crazy. But let's move on to a different topic. It's college football is changing. It's more we've kind of had this debate before, me and QnCOLB, where we're talking about college football, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like you got to do too much maintenance. You got to wait in the transfer portal. But you know what? Greg, are you an Ohio State fan, by the way?
I was when I was younger. I just don't care that much about college sports anymore. If I'm a fan of any team, it's Ohio State, but like when they lose, I feel nothing. I don't care.
Okay, cool. Because I'm about to go piss off Ohio State fans. This is what, look, Michigan won that game, and I spent the next 20 minutes like, let me make y'all mad. Because I don't think Ohio State fans have been so willing to let this happen. This is why I'm like, I don't get y'all. This is how Texas became Texas before they got to the playoff again. It's just complacency. You are watching the Michigan Wolverines become who you used to be. They are who you were in front of your face. And you still out here debating whether you should fire Ryan Day, who let the shit happen in front of his face with franchise quarterbacks, with all of these top-level guys, Marvin Harrison Jr., and he let it happen. He allowed this, Cole. He allowed Michigan out there celebrate their first national championship run since the 90s on your ass. And y'all still debating whether Ryan Day needs to go if he's a good coach because he coaches well against Rutgers. Now, I know you don't believe Ryan Day should still be here. But Cole, I just want to know, what did you feel when you saw Michigan euphorically rush that field and realize that they are now one of those teams and Ohio State losing to Mizzou?
I felt the same way I felt the entire season. Ryan Day has to go. He has to go. Like I don't understand. I don't understand these people who try to make the argument that he should stay. Dog, I don't give a fuck about beating Rutgers and Michigan State. I don't give a fuck about that. You shouldn't give a fuck about that at all. Like you shouldn't care about that at all, bro. We can't beat Michigan. We can't beat Michigan. That's you have 2 jobs as the head coach of Ohio State. You have 2 jobs: make the playoffs, beat Michigan. That's the only thing that is the only thing that matters. He hasn't done either this year. He hasn't beaten Michigan since he's been the head coach. And they sold that when they were supposed to beat Georgia last year, which was last year was the year they were actually supposed to win the national title when they almost beat Georgia. He sold that game, cowered in that game. Get rid of him, dog. He can't do the job. He can't do the job. He can't get the job done. It is what it is. And if they win, if they beat Washington, this has to be if he doesn't get to the playoff and beat Michigan next year, has to be his last season. Has to go. Has to go. He can't do it. Can't do the job.
Here's the thing I would be super concerned about with Ryan Day. And this is why I think if you're Ohio State, you need to get out ahead of this. College football changes super fast, right? What can be a powerhouse one year can easily change, because what happens is that these recruiting classes change over every 3 years. And that's the old system, right? Before transfer portal. Now you could have a program one year and not a damn thing the next year, right? It changes that quick. And if you think Ohio State's immune to that, you're foolish. Ohio State can't afford another year, right? They really can't afford it, because then they don't become as appealing as a place to play. You don't become an appealing place to play. Your players leave. You stink more. You stink more the less you can recruit. The low. This is what happened to USC. This is what happened to Texas for a while. This is what happened to Tennessee or Florida. Like, you can easily become one of these programs that's talking about what we used to be. And guess what? In the age of transfer portal, it can happen that much faster. And if you go out there in the new Big Ten with this Ryan Day stuff, by the way, still don't know who he's going to get at quarterback next year. Like, I know people are like, well, what's he supposed to do? The transfer portal, blah, 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 blah. Like, he don't got access to the transfer portal. He couldn't find a better quarterback than Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. Cole, I watched Devin Brown play in the Cotton Bowl. The fuck we talking about? You can't find better than that. Like, what do you mean? You can't, at Ohio State, you can't find a better, you can't get DJ Ukulele? Like, you can't even get that out of the quarterback position? Man. They would have been so much better off they had Sam Hartman. And he's not even good.
Bro, there's so many quarterbacks you can name they would have been better off with. So many.
And look, Ryan Day had that 1 year where he had Justin Fields and looked like it was going to be a continuation of the Urban Meyer days. But like a lot of coaches, after they lose that first recruiting class, that's not theirs in the first place, we start leaning on theirs and leaning on theirs more and more. And now we're in the Ryan Day era and we're leaning on these Ryan Day recruits. And I believe Marvin Harrison Jr. was a Urban Meyer recruit. Look around and you're like, man, we're not as deep as we used to be. Not as talented as they used to be. Michigan is legitimately just better than you. That's why he can't beat them. They're better. They're better than him. It's not Ohio State losing to a team that they're better than because they're making dumb mistakes. Michigan just bullies you. They beat you like they beat Penn State, like they beat me. They're just better than you. I know people are like, it's the sign stealing. It's all. Nah, dog. No, Jim Harbaugh is a goofball for stealing signs because he doesn't have to. He's better than them. They're better. They can line it up and just beat you. They're better than you at football. Michigan, who has no reason to ever be better than Ohio State at football unless some shenanigery is happening at head coach, which, by the way, you look at the other era where this happened in the 90s, Snoop Coop fucking around, right? So you look at this, you're Ohio State, and you're like, man, the reason Michigan's beating you is not because you got bad luck, bad juju, whatever. You're just not better than Michigan. You're not even that much better than Mizzou. Like, Emeka Egbuka still played in that game. People are like, oh yeah, well, we had no shot. Like, you couldn't beat Mizzou? We making excuses for losing to Mizzou? Mizzou. Really? The team we forget's in the SEC.
People are begging Washington to win this national championship. But you know what? Honestly, Q.
Cole,
I don't even care if they do. I don't even care if Michigan wins.
Here's where it gets worse. The free ride is up.
It's over.
These schedules are much tougher starting next year. Like, hey, look, you had to schedule your losses when you Ohio State outside of Michigan. Because when you playing Penn State, they're not serious. We've seen that. They got blown out by Ole Miss. Trash. Okay. Michigan State, all these teams, they not serious. But you know who is serious? Oregon. Washington. You saw what Oregon did to Liberty? Look, yes. Oregon, one thing I like about Oregon, they don't fuck around. They're not about to let you get confused with what the status of their program is. They're not about to let you get an upset. They did it to Colorado. They did it to Oregon. They're like, no, Bo Nix is playing. Like, Bo Nix is playing. We're not about to be out here letting you think shit's sweet out here. Like, Oregon don't play. You got Oregon, you got Washington. Look, UCLA, I don't know. The state of their program is kind of weird. And luckily for you, USC is just as goofy as you. Fumbled 2 years. They had Caleb Williams for 2 years. Undoubtedly played the best football in college, and they couldn't do it. Lincoln Riley is now officially on my Cliff Kingsbury list. And by the way, second all-time quarterback Cliff Kingsbury done fumbled. Second one. Third Heisman Trophy winner. Well, third guy who should have. Pat Mahomes never won a Heisman Trophy at Texas Tech. And that's crazy to me. Cliff Kingsbury. He sucks. He's a terrible offensive coordinator. Get him away from your program. But as long as they keep Cliff Kingsbury and Lincoln Riley, who somehow can't find anybody to get a decent defense wherever he coaches, okay, you might beat USC. They're just as goofy as you, Ohio State. But you understand this, y'all the same. Like, laughing at USC all you want. You're not that different from USC right now. And you know who you think you are? That's actually Michigan. You done let Jim Harbaugh's goofy ass do that to you on Ryan Day's watch, and you still out here defending Ryan Day because he can beat Rutgers? It's going to stop mattering this year when the Pac-12 invades the Big Ten. Like, hey, man, I'm telling you right now, Ohio State fans, I don't personally give a fuck about what happens to Ohio State. I think it's funny when Ohio State loses, but like, if y'all don't do something now, y'all might end up, becoming perennial frauds. The team that can't get over the hump. Losing to Washington routinely in the Big Ten championship, if you make it. Might have to start one of them countdowns. How long has it been since Ohio State's won the Big Ten? Hey, dog.
I need
Ryan
Day gone, dog. I need Ryan Day gone today,
hey,
man. I need y'all program today, bro.
But that's
what are we waiting
taking
on? You know what? Ryan Day is the head coach that people tried to make Kevin Stefanski all year. That's who Ryan Day is. He is the guy who don't know what he's doing.
Yep.
Can't get it done. That's who Ryan Day is. But I got to sit here and listen to these fucking
You know how I know Ryan Day ain't the guy? Cole, he learned everything he knows about football from Urban Meyer. And have you ever heard Urban Meyer talk about football and been like, damn, that's a man who knows a lot? Like, no. Urban Meyer has never gotten by on his studious knowledge of football. Like, Urban Meyer's successes are because he's a really good people person. Like, that's not Urban Meyer's the dude who networked himself to success. And there is no shame in that. If you can work them rooms, brother, work them rooms. But Urban Meyer's never been a genius. He's hired the geniuses. Hey, when did Urban Meyer have a good defense? When Luke Fickell was here. Turned out Luke Fickell was a really good coach. When did Urban Meyer have good offenses? Oh, when he had Dan Mullen and all these guys who turned out to be really good offensive coaches. Urban Meyer he don't got no system. We saw him in the NFL try to bring his system to the NFL. It looked so incoherent that we thought all of these crazy things about the Jaguars. Urban don't know what he talking about. He knows how to get to people who know what they're talking about to do the job. And Ryan Day knows everything he knows about this game based off of Urban Meyer. And look,
last time Ohio State won a Big Ten championship, just to chime in real quick, was 2020.
Oh, that fake one? That fake one they won with 6 games on the schedule?
It's over. It's over.
Done. It's done.
It's over.
There's been a whole class of kids who started at Ohio State and graduated at Ohio State that don't know what it means to play in Indianapolis. The run's done, Ohio State fans. And until you admit it and fire Ryan Day, the run will continue to be over. You're going back to the 90s right now. I can't believe there are fans who are like, yeah, but he's not that bad. I don't want to turn into Indiana.
He's fucking terrible, though. He's awful. He shows you he's awful every year, and we're still doing this. He's terrible. He can't get the job done, dog. He's fucking sucks. I need him gone.
Cole, do you not like Ryan Day?
No, fuck no, I don't like Ryan Day.
I feel like you have a distaste towards him.
There's two. And listen, man, there are 3 teams in my life I refuse to tolerate bullshit at any point. The Ohio State Buckeyes, the Cleveland Browns, and the Los Angeles Lakers. And 2 of the 3 of them are pissing me off, and the Browns are not one of them. Surprise.
Here's what I'll say about Ryan Day. If he loses his job at Ohio State, similar to Snoop Coop, he's never going to get a job anywhere else.
No, he shouldn't.
Because he's not an actual coach. Like, let me go look up Ryan Day's Wikipedia just to make sure I'm not like slandering this man for no reason. But I don't believe he has the most extensive coaching history outside of Urban Meyer. Right?
Yeah, he's done a lot of nothing. It's a lot of wide receiver, quarterback coaching at like Boston College and like Temple.
Yeah, co-offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach. Cove, you know what that means? You know what that means when you see somebody with that title? I gave my homeboy that job. He got all the homeboy. He got all the homeboy, boost his homeboy's resume up, right? He was the offensive coordinator / wide receiver coach at Temple. Like, whenever you see offensive coordinator / position coach, that tells me I had to say somebody was this. And you know what? Ryan Day is my favorite guy on the coaching staff. And he's a networker. Yeah. But he doesn't network well enough to have good defensive and offensive coordinators, and he's a horrible decision maker.
He is a coward. He's a coward. That's what he is. He's a coward. Get that man off the sideline, please.
People are like, hey, he's 56-8. That's high for Ohio State. 8 losses? Since 2019 is crazy.
For Ohio State, that's a lot of losses.
2-4 in bowl tournaments, 1-3 in the college football playoff. And people are like, well, he was a 50-yard field goal away from beating Georgia, Quincy. That's unfair. I'm like, he had C.J. Stroud. He had the best offensive line in college football, a great defense, the best wide receivers anybody can ask for on the college football team. And why did he have to play Georgia?
Because he couldn't beat fucking Michigan. That's
who got clapped by TCU.
Murdered by TCU. Murdered by TCU.
And also, just so Michigan fans don't think I'm with them, I'm letting you know right now, Washington about to slap y'all, boy. Washington about to clap them. Oh, yes. Yes, the dream is up. Washington's about to do this, dog. That's the best team in college football. I've been saying it all year.
Yesterday. You have been saying it all year, but I tweeted this. Elite script writing is the Pac-12 winning the national championship the year before it dissolves. That is elite script writing right there.
Hey, look, Washington's better than everybody. And people are going to be like, well, their secondary's not good. I don't care. Like, who Michigan got that wide receiver that really makes you that worried? Like, oh, you will worry about JJ? Nah, man. Michael Penix. That's who you need to be worried about. I don't think he's going to be that good as a professional. But in college, yeah, he's him. Okay, he's him. And those receivers don't drop nothing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they about to smack Michigan. Like, the dream is over for them. The dream is over. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the dream is up. Let's talk about the dream being up. Because in some ways, what the Bears are going through is a dream. In other ways, what the Bears are going through is a fucking nightmare.
Oh, man.
They have the actual Brian Drew situation from draft day. They got the number 1 overall pick. They got a dude in their building that they're not sure about, but the fans kind of like. And then they have Caleb Williams waiting in the wing, who is the number 1 overall pick that people would be like, I don't know about him, dog. Like, there's something about him. like Caleb Williams is the most, there's something about him. Like, first overall pick, undoubted first overall pick I've ever seen in my life. Because I'm a Caleb Williams fan. I've been talking about Caleb Williams for 3 years on this podcast. And if somebody were like, I don't know, I just get a bad vibe from Caleb Williams, I would understand that thought completely. I'm like, yeah, I can see how you could get there. Like, there are some weird things that pop up with Caleb Williams, you know, like, he does flex his portion a little bit much for a quarterback. Like, some of this stuff don't really feel right. Remember, he had that one press conference where, like, hey, if you had to live in these shoes, and then he said his shoe size. That's weird. You know, he's still really good though. You gotta take him number 1 overall. And it's like that whole comp that they had at draft day where it's like, I don't know, he left the DVD in the playbook. But what do you do if you're the Chicago Bears? You got Justin Fields, who is a special athlete. We thought was a really good player, really good prospect. Finally looks like he might live up to that potential. But Caleb Williams is everything you dream Justin Fields could be. But also, Cole, we talk about fits. Hey man, you think Caleb Williams is about to go over well in Chicago?
No.
Like,
no. You heard what DJ Moore said, though. Did you hear what DJ Moore said when they asked him about it?
And he said Justin Fields is the dude.
He said, I don't think either of them guys is as good as Justin, to be real with you.
DJ must not be tight with Tyson. But
relax.
But
relax.
I don't know what they do. Because, man, it would feel really Browns if they stuck with Justin Fields and didn't decide to get this dude who's clearly a number 1 overall pick that landed right in their lap. Like, it would feel like something the Browns would have done in 2014. And that's why I'm like, you got to just take the quarterback. But, hey, dog.
I'm going to be real.
We talk about this, right? We talk about there's certain places where I'm like, Caleb Williams can't play here. Like, West Coast, Caleb Williams can play there. East Coast, it starts to get iffy, right? Like, we talked about it. He can't be on the Jets.
No.
In Chicago, he can't be on the Chicago Bears. He can't be on the Philadelphia Eagles because fans are not, as we say, as evolved about certain perceptions of him that you might run into.
Is that the word? They're not as tolerant as we would
yes, to be? They are this understanding of some of his quirks, right? Like, he's a real West Coast dude. And I don't mean that in any disparaging way. I'm just saying, like, he does stuff that you see more on the West Coast, like, legitimately. Like, you'll see gangbangers, like, with painted fingernails and shit on the West Coast. You don't see that on the East Coast. We're not used to that. So, like, they're going to perceive certain things about him differently, and it's going to lead to negative attention to him. Or, like, how he interacts with the media. He's real nonchalant. Nah, it's something we rock with over here. I mean, like, just look at the issues we've had with Deshaun Watson transitioning from a Southern place to up here. Like, these things do matter when it comes to a quarterback being accepted by a city. Justin Fields is everything that a Chicago fan wants, except for he hasn't been consistent on the field. Caleb Williams is everything you would want on the field. But, man, people just don't know. People just don't feel great about it, like, as they should. Like, this is not Andrew Luck. This isn't a slam dunk. Oh, yeah, you put him anywhere, he's going to be fine. Like, this is he might be a special type of personality. Might have to have his own team.
This is what I'm going to say. I don't think it's as cut and dry as we would like it to be with the decision. I think there is a legitimate case that could be made. Building around the quarterback you got might not actually be the worst thing in the world. Could actually be the correct decision, to be honest with you.
Well, here's what happens, though. If you have the number 1 overall pick and you trade it and Justin Fields stinks like he has for the most part in the last 4 years, you will never live to see any of them damn picks you traded for.
Nope. Not at all. Not at all.
If you take Caleb Williams, you get 2 + 3 years, you know what I mean, to figure that out before they pull the axe on you if you're the GM. So that's another factor into it, right? You're GM, and you stick with Justin. It's a bold choice.
It gotta work.
It must work immediately. And you look at Justin Fields' body of work and tell me, are you ready to bet on that with, was it Eberflus as his head coach?
That's the thing that really concerns me. But to be fair to Matt Eberflus, they got that defense together. They did get that defense together. Especially with that Montez Sweat trade. They got it together. But man, I don't trust him to get that offense together. I don't trust him to get that offense together. I don't. Even if you get Marvin Harrison and DJ Moore as your receivers is crazy, by the way. But I don't know. I don't know.
Greg, where do you stand on this? What do you think Chicago should do?
I like Justin Fields. I feel like he can be good in the league. I just can't pass up on Caleb Williams, especially with how inconsistent Justin Fields has been. And as a Browns fan as well, like I've seen my team pass up on too many quarterbacks. If I was a GM, I don't think I could pass up on Caleb Williams personally. It is tough though.
Yeah,
I will say this. The argument for drafting a quarterback, and I've talked to a couple of my homies who are Bears fans, and they agree with me, is this. It's going to buy you more time, and also it's going to be easier to build that team if you have a quarterback that's on a rookie contract. But this is the other thing that people don't talk about. If they keep Justin, they have to pay him. They have to extend him. And if you just draft Caleb, even if you take Drake May, you don't have to worry about that.
Well, one, if you have a shot at taking Caleb Williams, and then you choose to take Drake May by trading back or anything, hey, dog, I would not recommend that. Like, I Drake May might be fine, but I don't know about that. Like, I just
hey, you know I'm a Drake May guy.
I like Drake May. Drake May's a good prospect. It ain't got shit on Caleb Williams, dog. Like,
hey,
look, his stats, Caleb Williams' stats came in spite of Cliff Kingsbury. And he put up these numbers this year. They're incredible numbers. The last guy to do something like that in spite of Cliff Kingsbury is Pat Mahomes. And I don't know if you see I don't know if you see Caleb Williams and Pat Mahomes run. Pat Mahomes does not run as good as Caleb Williams. I'm just saying. You can't pass that up. I'm like, Drake May is a good athlete. He's a good thrower of the football. Yeah, Caleb Williams does everything that Drake May does well better. And everything Drake May's special at, he's specialer at. Like, it's just, nah, you can't justify it. Unless you get such a bad vibe from Caleb Williams. Which, I mean, it's the draft season. We know that bad vibes are going to suddenly exist for Caleb Williams. We kind of know how this going to go. Shout out CJ Stroud. Had to deal with it last year. Unless you get such a bad vibe from him. Which they've been working hard on it, right? Oh, he want to buy the franchise. That's another thing that like stinks about this, right? Because some of this stuff that goes into his perception has nothing to do with what he actually said.
Like, he wants to buy the franchise was so ridiculous. Like, come on, dog. Come on, bro.
Yeah, people just say anything. But it's getting out there for a reason. And the reason it's getting out there is because there are people who are dedicated to making sure or doing what they can to make sure that he doesn't go number one overall for whatever reason. And I have not seen a prospect. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I also think if I'm the Bears and if some team comes and offers me some crazy trade package for Justin Fields, like by some grace of God, if you could get like a late first round pick for him, I think that's easy. That's a no brainer.
Yeah, I would do that. If somebody offered me a first, I'd do that.
Now 100%. You bring me to my most nefarious point. Thank you for that one, Greg. The Bears are not a good organization. They're not a well-ran franchise. We are assuming things in the guise of competency. I look at the Bears like I look at the Browns like 10 years ago, where I'm like, they can fuck this up. Right? Like, and I wouldn't be surprised if the following scenario happens. I've updated it, right? They trade Justin Fields. And we're like, okay, that makes sense. They're going to take Caleb Williams. And then 2 weeks before the draft starts, breaking news, the Bears have traded back with whatever team in this draft. And we're like, what are they about to do? And then we get the free agency blurb. that the Bears have signed Joe Flacco to a multi-year deal.
You know they not gonna do
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know
They are going to do
trying
the Jeff Garcia. They are about to
keep
Jeff
pushing
Garcia
this, dog.
themselves
They are
and
not
draft a
gonna do
tight
this.
end. Yes, they are taking Brock Bowers. They are signing Joe Flacco.
Oh,
And they're going to draft a bad offensive lineman too. Like whichever offensive lineman you think has the highest bust potential, the Bears will take them and they will end up with nothing out of this whole situation.
They're not doing that.
Because
dog.
why do we think we should trust the Bears? What has the Bears ever done to make us be like, yeah, at quarterback, they're going to make the right choice? No, they're going to find a way to make a bad choice. Right now, it legitimately feels like they can't. Justin Fields looks like he's going to be good. Caleb Williams looks like he's going to be good. And like, they're going to find a way to end up with Baker Mayfield quarterbacking them or something. Or Gardner Minshew or Tyler Huntley, former Pro Bowl quarterback. They are the team that's going to do it. They're going to draft the tight end. They're going to draft the wide receiver. And they're going to be like, we in win now mode. Have you seen our defense? And you know what you're going to do when you in win now mode? Cheap quarterback. Yes. Yes, Cole. I'm telling you, if this happens, it's not gonna happen. Whole show
it's not gonna happen.
Of me just sitting here like, yeah. Well, I tell you.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
I don't know why we are assuming the Bears are about to be competent. Greg, am I tripping, or have the Bears given you any reason to believe that they're gonna make good decisions?
I have no faith in that organization.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look, it's such an easy decision, bro.
We almost drafted Mitchell Trubisky over Myles Garrett. It's never that easy, dog. It's never that easy. Like, see, when your organization stinks, it ain't never easy. Think about it. We had the number 4 pick in 2014, and we drafted Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel. One of the best drafts of all time. We drafted Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel.
2 busts.
No, not just 2 busts, Cole. 2 of the biggest, when you look at how many games they play in the NFL, of guys who started games in that draft, they have started like some of the least. Yes. You drafted them in the greatest first round of this generation. Cole, when you tell me you can't mess this up because it's too easy, brother, you can. And we've seen it. And they ain't different from us in 2014. Ryan Poles, Ray Farmer, I don't see a difference. Do you?
He got a chance to change the narrative right now.
Mm-hmm. Look, they gonna overthink this. They gonna walk out. Well, I don't like any of the. You know what? We gonna swing back around in the second round and get Ray Phoenix, Michael Phoenix, or something like that. That's what the Bears are on, dog. You know who we like? Bo Nix. That's what the Bears are on, dog. I promise you. We like that JJ. We're gonna trade back to 22 and take JJ. I'm telling you, they aren't a competent organization. They will have Caleb Williams and Drake May in their laps and find a way to end up with Bo Nix. Bo Nix and Baker Mayfield. Watch them. They about to trade Justin Fields to the Buccaneers for Baker Mayfield in a third round pick, dog. I can see it. I don't know how you can't see it with the Bears, dog.
I can't see it, man.
What makes you trust them? It's not
even about trust. It's not even about trust. It's really not about trust whatsoever.
Have we not seen people fumble easier situations?
Yes, I have. But I'm just like, dog, it's so easy. I can't see you fumbling it this bad, dog. Like, it's so easy.
It's not.
You either take Caleb or you stick with Justin. Either way, I feel like those are the only 2 options this can go. You talking about Joe Flacco and Baker and all that, like, bro, they're not.
No. When you stink, you get creative about stinking. Like, that's the thing. We forget how much creativity the Browns exhibited and they stank. Like, the Browns didn't just stank because we made bad draft picks. No, we was like, we gonna give you a Julio Jones trade. And then in 2016, we about to flip you a Corey Coleman trade. And then we about to flip you another trade and all this. And then we about to almost trade Nick Chubb's draft rights to the Cincinnati Bengals for AJ McCarron. When you stink because of you get creative with the stinking, dog. You don't just be making bad choices that are linear that you can point to. Nah.
Shout out Sashi Brown.
That was when the Browns finally started improving, when they just started making straight up bad choices. I'm like, all right, we can at least trace where this is coming from. Nah, man, we've had mysteries of these bad choices for decades. That's where the Bears are. Hey, man, somebody got to sign Kirk Cousins.
It'll be the Vikings.
Are we
It'll be the Vikings.
sure? Are we sure? They seem to be interested in playing everybody else. The Vikings are a good organization, by the way, Cole. They might just draft somebody.
Shout out Quessy.
Yeah, they might just draft somebody. You know, put around that good instead of just spending more money on Achilles, Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk Cousins.
You called him Kirk Herbstreit. That's crazy.
You kind of get the same. You get the same feeling. Like Kirk Herbstreit is the Kirk Cousins of football commentators, but that's a whole different take that I'm gonna get into at a different time. Kirk always take the check down. Kirk ain't never gonna hit you with a controversial take.
Kirk love everybody.
Yeah.
Kirk love everybody except Jalen Milroe.
That man needs to learn something about leadership. I'm like,
can we talk about it? Hey, his center was snapping balls into the dirt all game. And he said Jalen need to be prepared for that. I was like, Kirk, come the fuck on, man. Hey, let's be serious.
Jalen Milroe had such a unfortunate, like, you saw the one where they asked him when he brought up, he was like, yeah, man, you know, my old offensive coordinator told me that I don't need to play quarterback. And they were like, how does that make you feel? It was like, how would you feel if I told you you suck at your job?
Like he catches a lot of heat today, but his center literally cost them that game.
They called a quarterback draw at the 5-yard line.
Yep.
On the game. Like, that's so stupid. That was such a dumb play call. And like, I'm not usually one to be super critical of play calls because I think we kind of oversimplify it at times. But no, that was a dumb play call because like, if you're gonna run the fucking ball, run it to the boundary where you have more space. Like, don't run it right at Michigan's defensive line. And that was a bad snap too.
It was a bad snap too. Like, what if it was a good snap? Maybe it actually would have worked out if the center could snap the ball. Which
hey man, this is why you need to teach these young fellas how to get the ball from under center, because that wouldn't have been a problem with Kevin. Kevin would be all right, get under center. We're gonna bootleg this. Hey, you know who's not gonna have that issue? Jim Tressel, right? Jim Tressel gonna be like, all right, who's our running back? Get in that eye. Follow your fullback, son. That's all I need you to do. We're going to get a clean handoff, clean operation.
Bring Jim back. Bring Jim back. He can do better. He can do better than Ryan Day.
Real talk, Jim Harbaugh is basically doing what Jim Tressel tried to do at Ohio State, which is just straight up play old people football, like with some athletes. That's all he's doing. And it's a shame that Ohio State let that man bring Michigan back on the back of you. Oh. Stink to be a Buckeye. It's got to be a rough year. And let me tell you something. Do y'all play Washington? Do they play Washington next year?
They probably do.
Hey, man, I don't know what Washington going to be like next year.
We getting cooked. Tell you now.
I'd really, if I'm them, I don't want to play Oregon. Honestly, it's going to be a rough year. I'm
glad it's gonna be a rough year. So we can get Ryan Day up out of here. It's time.
They're gonna keep him. They're gonna keep him. I'm like, well, man, he's adjusting to the new Big Ten.
Next thing you know, Oregon. They're at Oregon next year, but they don't play Washington.
Hey, that might be worse because look, I don't know what Washington's gonna be like once Michael Penix graduates, but Oregon always got something. Like that's the thing. Oregon always got something.
Oregon will go whoop our ass. Tell you right now, whoop our ass.
Oh yeah. And something about Dan Lannon tells me he don't really like a dude like Ryan Day.
We definitely get another. Some people were born on third base and think they hit a triple. We definitely get another one of them.
Oh, yes.
Bars from Jim. Bars from Jim.
People forget this. A lot of the reason Davo plays so well against Urban Meyer is because Davo Sweetie can't stand a motherfucker like Urban Meyer, dog. You know about Davo's story? Davo's story is incredible. He's like, he grew up in poverty, trailer park, all this shit. Then walked on to Clemson, then became a star, and then dragged his way up the coaching ranks. And he look at Urban Meyer like, man, you could never beat me. Why?
Hey, they be having bars, dog. College football coaches be having bars.
Hey, the beef is serious. Like I'm telling you, the beef is serious between these coaches.
So real. You can feel it, bro. Like
they try to compare me to him. Also, look, Dabo real big into loyalty. And he look at Urban Meyer. He used to look at Urban Meyer. He used to see a man with no loyalty. He was like, it's a thought right there, dog. He don't respect how he live his life. Like,
hey, what day was the coach is gonna be like? I'm gonna be real. I just don't respect him as a man.
hey, it only took 2 years for it to get like that in the SWAC with Dion, right? Like, where you had his coaches at Alabama State like off with his steez at all. Like, and that's the thing, man. Look, if I'm Colorado, never schedule Clemson because there's nobody who is gonna have less respect for your get down than Davo Sweetie. Like, he ain't gonna be with it at all, dog. Davo got beef with dudes who call into his show. Like that's how Davo gets down, dog. Like,
hey, speaking of, we got to get a call-in line at some point. We got to get a call-in line. We need who got beef with us? Who got beef with us?
Oh my God, no, man! Like
that's what we need.
These are the things people don't be thinking about, right? Like it's like, oh yeah, like Davo is okay with losing to Alabama. All right, because it's like, okay, Nick Saban, he's one of the greatest. It stinks, it's a rivalry, but at the end of the day, he has respect for Nick Saban as a human being. Hey, dog, remember that year he lost to Ohio State? He wasn't trying to say nothing. You don't hear about him going back and forth with Urban Meyer, right? Like, he'll be on that podcast on the radio. Yeah, the battles me and Nick had. He don't ever talk about them Urban battles. He played Urban a ton. He played Urban before Clemson was good. Remember when they beat us? Yeah, with Martavius Bryant. Like, he goes back with Urban. He don't have he don't when Urban's get down at all, dog. At all. There's some fascinating coaches out there. Like, hey, look, I'm not gonna lie. Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day, they kind of got similar get downs, right? They kind of both give you scammer. Like, I feel like they scam in different ways, but they both give you scammers. And that's why Ryan Day's so okay with losing to Michigan every year, dog. He don't got no distaste for that.
I will say one thing about Jim. Jim may be a scammer, but Jim cool with looking out for the brothers. Let's say that. Jim will look out for the brothers. You look at that Michigan sideline? You see that Michigan sideline? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I ain't about to go that far with Jim.
I'm just saying. You're looking out for the brothers a little bit.
He's no Dan Campbell. Okay.
He's not Dan Campbell, though. He's not Dan.
He's no Dan Campbell. Nah.
Hey, Kevin too.
Hey, look. Kevin's not even on Dan Campbell's level. Let's keep it a buck. Dan Campbell has JT Barrett on the coaching. Did you know that, Greg? Did you know that JT Barrett was a coach for the Detroit Lions?
Because of this show, I did. Yeah.
So, hey, Dan Campbell, we hold Dan Campbell in very high esteem on this show.
Hey, man, Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell trying to get those third round picks, dog. Like, all right. Before we get into trouble, man.
I was about to say, it's like we're going left.
Yep. See, got to get back on track. All right, I'm gonna go through the last few super chats here. Shout out to Ray Rags and Sammy Football. Flacco at the bank, absolutely. Oh, is he talking about M&T Bank Stadium or the bank he's about to get from the Chicago Bears this offseason?
He's not getting a bag from the Bears, though.
Hey, man, look, Flacco put it out there. I'm trying to play a couple more years because he looking at the Bears like, yeah, y'all do it. I'm trying to get Fodimo. He know he ain't getting it here. Like,
no, he ain't getting it here. He ain't getting no bag here.
He literally can't get it here.
We would give it to you, Joe, but we ain't got it.
Hey,
we just don't got it.
You got to talk to Deshaun about that, big dog. we go worry about that when we get there. Ray Rag says, I've already heard people. Okay, yep. Dalvin Cook is to be released by the Jets. Does AB need to be fired for not trading for him? AB haters. So I guess people were wanting the Browns to trade for Dalvin Cook, but he just got cut.
Was that a thing? I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, that happened during the recording of this podcast. Which, yes, Browns do that. Because if I got to see Pierre Strong fumble the ball so fucking weak again, dog, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, hey, Pierre not it. He not it. People would be like, he need the ball more. He need to get more opportunities. No, he does not.
Nah, he fumbles, dog. He be fumbling. He don't be taking no hits. He's a great special teams defender.
I say this all the time. Every time Pierre Strong get the ball, something bad happen.
Mm-hmm.
Something bad happen. Every single time he touches the ball. I'm sick of that. I'm not built to be worried about stuff like that.
Ray Rags also says, this feels like Mahomes and the Chiefs is like having a LeBron with one old Paul Gasol and a bunch of Smush Parkers and Kwame Browns on the team. Let me tell you something. If Bron in his prime, that team getting to the finals. Like,
I'm assuming Travis Kelce is the old Paul Gasol.
Yes. Hey, man.
Woo.
I don't know. I'm shocked I'm going here too, but they got championship DNA, dog. I don't know about them.
You going with all the intangibles and all the cliches to talk about the Chiefs, man.
Hey, when we're talking about regular quarterbacks, it makes sense to be real analytical and smart about this. When we talking about Pat Mahomes, hey man, don't none of that bullshit matter. Nah, dog. Nah, I done seen it too many times. Where something crazy happens with Pat Mahomes and he's just all right. I guess it's
for anybody listening, if you want on Twitter, make sure you tweet out Q scared of the Chiefs, man. Q scared of the Chiefs.
I'm not scared of the Chiefs. Oh no.
He living in his fears.
Let's get this correct. I'm not scared of the Chiefs. I'm just not trying to fuck with Pat Mahomes. Like, yes, what do you mean? Am I scared of Pat Mahomes in the playoffs? Okay, if you were in the 90s, you trying to play Jordan? Like, let's get Jordan in the second round. Pippen don't look that good this year. The fuck out of my face. Why are you trying to play him? Like,
listen, I ain't worried.
What?
Well, what did Juan Thornhill say? I don't care who we play.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Okay, Juan, I better not see Kadarius Toney beat you over top when we play the goddamn Chiefs did. Don't care who we play.
Well, why you even put that out there? See how you put negativity in the universe?
I'm not putting negativity out there. I think the Browns could beat the Chiefs, but I would not rule out the factor. Look, they have the highest bullshit probability factor of any team in the league. The highest bullshit probability factor. Why would I want to play that team in the playoffs? The refs want them to win. The league wants them to win. And I don't know. We might have a Joe Flacco story going. Like, if Joe Flacco keep playing well, okay, then like the league might be fine with us getting to an AFC championship game. And they're not going to stand in our way. But this was Deshaun. I definitely ain't trying to play Pat. Like,
oh, no.
You know all them calls ain't going.
Like, nah, we ain't get no calls. We ain't get no calls with Deshaun.
Look. It's like Deshaun got to get a face mask before they call it. Like, they got to get at least one, then we'll call the next one. Like,
we get robbed if the show is.
So it might benefit us that Joe's in there. Like, that helps us because they like Joe. Okay. But, hey, dog. I'm just saying, if you could play Tua or you could play Pat Mahomes, I'm 100% choosing Tua. I don't care who's on Tua's team. I'm playing Tua. I'm not afraid of Tua. Pat, yeah, call me a coward. I don't care. I'm afraid of Pat. Why? Because look what Pat has done. Okay? Won the MVP, and Juju Smith-Schuster was arguably his best receiver. Got us even talking about Juju Smith-Schuster again. He's been ass in New England this whole year. We talk about him being the missing ingredient. Cole. Don't fall into that trap, dog. Don't fall into that trap. End up trying to play Pat Mahomes. It's silly. Come on. Yeah. Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, I want one of them. Not both of them. Because then you still got to play Lamar Jackson in the AFC Conference Championship. Not one. Not both.
That's who I'm not looking forward to play.
That's what I'm afraid of. Okay. You trying to play both? You trying to play both?
Listen, man, I'm not worried about that Chiefs. I'm really not worried about this Chiefs team, dog. I'm really not. They look bad. They really do. Pat's great, though, so I get it. Pat's great. I get it.
I'm trying to play Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes.
I didn't say I'm trying to play both of them. I said I'm not worried about playing one.
Who's your preferred second round opponent if the Browns advance past the Jaguars or the AFC South champion?
As long as it's not the Ravens.
Who's your preferred one? No.
As long as it's not the Ravens.
Pick one. Who's your preferred opponent of the three? Who's your preferred opponent? I want you to pick one. I want you to say it right now on the air. Who is your preferred opponent for round 2 in the AFC playoffs if the Browns are fortunate enough to advance? Who do you want to play, Cole?
Because of all the extra injuries, give me the Dolphins.
Okay. So we've been arguing about some shit you agree with me on? Like, what are you doing?
That's what the show's for. That's what the show's for. That's what the show's for.
Man. Greg, any thoughts before we have to head out, man?
Just go Browns. That's all I got.
Yes, sir. Go Browns. We're going to find a new code.
Wow. You gonna replace me?
If your name is Cole, DM me. I don't feel like changing the graphics. It's going to be Q. It's going to be Kevin Cobb on the show with me next week. Q and Cobb. Retcon. Man, argue with me for 45 minutes about some shit you agree with.
Listen. Sometimes that's what you got to do.
Shout out to, we got time for shout outs. I think we got 5 minutes we could kick it. Shout out to Steel Toe Gang. Shout out to Pizza Delivery Gang. Shout out to the RNA. Shout out to the emergency EMS workers. Shout out to the animators out there who love our long ass podcast because they put it on as white noise. Shout out to them. Anybody else you got shout outs left for?
Hey man, shout out EMS Gang. Always shout out the EMS Gang. Shout out the Uber drivers. Shout out the Lyft drivers. Door Dashers, Instacart drivers. We love y'all. Hey, shout out to the truck drivers too. Shout out to the truckers. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to my homeboy still wearing the earpiece. You know what I mean? Like keeping it OG.
Yeah.
Shout out to anybody that goes to a barbershop with a one piece in too. Shout out to y'all. I know y'all smell. I know y'all smell like JCPenney.
That's real trust. Going to the barbershop with your earpiece in. That is real trust. Shout out the barbers. You know what I'm saying? Shout out the barbers, hairstylists, the braiders, the twisters. Shout out to all of y'all.
Shout out to 2 out of the 3 barbershop movies.
Oh yeah, because you hate the third one.
The third one's trash. Third was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I will now compare things and say, hey man, it's better than Barbershop 3.
That's crazy.
This podcast officially a better use of your 2.5 hours than watching Barbershop 3?
Absolutely. Not even a question. Oh, shout out the gamers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
shout out
select gamers. Select
gamers. Shout out
select
to
anime fans. Select anime watchers. Anime selects. We want some of y'all. Shout out to my book readers.
Oh yeah, shout out select book readers. We don't know what y'all be reading. Select book readers.
It does matter. It does matter. It does matter.
Absolutely matters.
It
Absolutely
really does matter what you be reading. You know what I mean? Shout out to all my bald homies.
Shout out to the bald homies that's bald by choice.
Oh yeah. I'm about to be right there with y'all, dog. Wait till this start. Wait till this. Look. If this starts showing regression right here. Oh yeah, whole team cut, dog. We gonna rebuild. I already know. The second. Yeah, I'm not waiting for the hairline to be 45 and to be like, oh, it's still got a couple good years left. Nah, I'm cutting that shit at 32.
Oh yeah, shout out to the UK homies. Everybody who listens to us from the UK.
Shout out to the Brubs. Shout out to the Brubs out there. Brub gang.
Hey, you know, I ain't say that. I ain't take it that far. You know what I'm saying? not trying to take y'all slang. You know what I'm saying? I know that's yours. I ain't trying to touch that. Who else? Who else we need to shout out? Man, shout out to Cavs fans. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cavs fans. We never shout out to Cavs fans. Shout out to Cavs fans. We mess with y'all. We be watching the team.
Are we gonna give a shout out to the Guardian fans?
Shout out to Guards fans too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Guards fans.
Somebody got to be at them games.
We gonna try to watch some games and talk about them sometimes.
No, stop! Don't lie to people.
Nope.
We are never talking about the Guardians. Let me tell you something, dog.
What if they make the playoffs? We're not gonna talk about them.
No, I don't care.
No.
What we gonna talk about? Oh yeah, do you think the rotation? We about to be out here capping to the people like we give a fuck about their rotation, about their bullpen, about who's batting where. When we know goddamn well we watched 3 games. We not about to lie to y'all, act like we ever gonna cover baseball on this show. And look, some of y'all might think I hate baseball. Yeah. I played baseball for like 13 years, dog. I hate this shit now. I can't watch it. In part, it ain't anybody's fault but my own. My team sucked, and when your team suck at baseball, you just get a distaste for it. You just hate baseball because it just traumatizes you in that way. So, shout out to Maple Heights baseball for traumatizing me. I think I went like 4 years, 2 games. Fuck that bullshit. We ain't never talking about the baseball team, dog.
Hey, it got real personal just now.
Yeah. Nah, dog. Cole can talk about the baseball team. You will see a chair, dog. I'm not about to act like I got any baseball takes for you. Is Quan still on the team? Like, I don't know.
I'm definitely gonna talk about it just so you can get up and walk away.
Oh yeah, I'll be like Stephen A. Smith when y'all talk about Tim Tebow in 2011. He's like, I'm leaving. Like, he talking about baseball. Man. Greg, you like baseball? Ooh. I don't want to offend you.
I probably like it about as much as you do. I probably watch like 10 games a year. I like it, but too many games.
I don't know if I've watched 10 games in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
for real?
The most I watch are the games I go to. Outside of that.
Okay, I probably watched 10 games when they made the World Series. During that playoff run, I probably watched 10 of those games. Other than that,
we're gonna have people think we hate the Guardians.
I don't hate the Guardians. I have nothing against the Guardians. I just don't like baseball. I don't like watching it. Like, it's too much work. First of all, here's the problem with baseball. You don't know who the fuck's good. Like, because it just changes so rapidly. So it's like, oh yeah, this dude won the MVP 3 years ago and he's ass now. And it's like, okay. He won the Cy Young 3. It's just, it changes so rapidly. It doesn't even matter if you have the best players because Shohei and Mike Trout been on the same team for like 4 years and they still stink. Like, it's just not, it's too much. You got to get into the weeds. And then all the people you don't like that watch football love baseball. Like the people who are telling you, well, TJ Watt is technically superior to Myles Garrett because of this number and that. Those are the same motherfuckers who watch baseball. Okay. It's a sport prime for Moneyball, right? So all of that like super duper deep into analytics, it's not appealing. And look, it ain't never gonna be appealing. They can keep changing the rules to try to get me back all they want. They not gonna get me back. I'm not watching that shit. I'd rather watch, you know what I'm about to watch, Colb, over baseball? Real talk,
UFL.
the UFL. Oh, 100%.
I do.
I'm excited about that. I'm like, you know the teams that they got. Yeah, I'm about to watch the Birmingham Stallions play the Arlington Renegades March 30th. I got it marked in my calendar. You know what I'm not about to watch on March 30th? Opening day. Fuck that. I'm not watching that. Like, ooh. The Yankees are pitching off against this team. I don't care, dog. I could care less about baseball. They could go on strike. I wouldn't notice.
That's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't notice, dog. Like, I'd be finding out who won the World Series on Twitter. I'm like, oh, that's who won? Like, I don't even know who won the last one.
You know what debates be killing me? When they try to rank the most relevant professional sports teams in Cleveland, and they be trying to put the guards anywhere but 3. That'd be crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, to me, they're 3. I don't know. I guess if you love baseball, you can talk yourself into it. I'm not here for it, man. I'm not. I did my time with baseball, dog. I did my time. I played the shit when I was young. I played it into early adulthood. I hurt my knees. My shoulder ain't never going to be the same. My body has been destroyed by baseball. I done did it. I don't need to watch it no more. I'm good, dog. I'm good. I played catcher. Like, I'm good, dog. My body is destroyed because of that sport. I'm good. I'm straight on that. I watch more Olympic swimming, like track. Oh, you know what else I watch? Hey, get the people onto this shit. 5-on-5 flag football. Very good sport. 90 minutes, in and out. Very good. Well, go watch it. The men's and women's versions are good. Yeah. You know what I ain't never watching? Round 2 of the NLDS. like, don't care.
Hey man, hey Q, we gonna get you to the anime thing. No,
no,
that's my goal. I'm gonna get you to the anime thing this year. That's my goal.
This year, that's your new year. You gonna fail.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you to watch. I'm gonna get you to
Colb,
watch.
I'm more stubborn about anime than I am about baseball, dog. Like,
I'm gonna get you to watch one season of something all the way through. I'm gonna get you there. I'm gonna get you there.
I've watched anime. I've seen all the seasons of the Boondocks. That's all I need to see. Right? That's. I've done my anime due diligence. Like, I watched Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid. Like, I did it. Greg, do you watch anime?
I was really into Toonami when I was a kid, but not really since then.
Yeah, I didn't get along with Toonami kids when I was a kid. Toonami kids always like to play fight.
You're right. I kind of kept my anime love to myself because I thought a lot of the kids were weird.
Toonami kids always be like punching you for no reason. I'm like, they need to delete this channel. Right.
There was a kid in my elementary school who was a Toonami kid who was trying to convince everybody that he secretly was a Naruto ninja and then he could teach everybody else how to do it if they just gave him all the snacks or whatever.
I know that kid did a shower.
Yeah,
I know that kid did a shower.
There's way too much going on.
Yeah, Toonami kids, man, like, hey, look, y'all about to grow into fine adults. But I remember when I was in school, y'all always be the one to play too much. Like, why are you hitting right now? Why are you trying to kick? Why are you trying to do a roundhouse, you weirdo? Get out of here, dog. Like, nah. It's a different world out there now because anime is much more accepted and mainstream and it's not like a weird thing anymore. But man, y'all Toonami kids. Honestly, I had beef with Cartoon Network kids.
Hey, Cartoon Network was the channel though.
Yeah, y'all was always. I could tell you was a Cartoon Network kid because you just argue with me for 40 minutes for no reason. That's a Cartoon Network kid behavior right now. Like, see, that's Ed and Eddie did that to you.
Listen.
Kids that grow up on Fairly Odd Parents don't act in such ways.
Oh, here we go.
Kids who grow up off the wholesome. Yes, Drake and Josh. Drake and Josh, baby. Let's go. Yeah, we were wholesome kids, responsible kids, good kids right here. Watching Nickelodeon, watching all those shows from that disgusting man that was out there at Nickelodeon. You know, out here, we was out here on the right path watching these cartoons. Danny Phantom. I was like, okay, it was a little bit too anime for me, you know, Danny Phantom, Invaders Zim. What y'all know about Chalk Zone? Had me drawing circles on my teacher's chalkboard. You know, that's the kind of wholesome trouble that good kids who are into Nickelodeon were into. You know what I mean? Also, not gonna lie, I was watching That's So Raven too. You know, I was watching That's So Raven.
Oh yeah, had to watch That's So Raven. Had to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So shout out to the Nickelodeon kids in the audience. What's up, man?
I am with Colb on this one. I was a Cartoon Network kid growing up.
I could get that.
Come on now. So. The best cartoons, the best shows. Y'all had Avatar and SpongeBob, though. I
didn't even watch Avatar. It felt too much like Cartoon Network to me.
So you missed out on
that was the best one, though. That was the best one.
That's the best cartoon on Nickelodeon.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. But you know what I was watching? iCarly.
Come on, bro.
Hey, iCarly.
How you a Nickelodeon kid and didn't watch the best show Nickelodeon ever gave us?
I didn't like cartoons that much as a kid, to be honest with you. I like live action comedies. And Cartoon Network didn't have any of those. I don't like cartoons all like that.
Yeah, well, you missed out on the hits. You missed out on hits that Cartoon Network was putting.
Real talk, I was probably watching pro wrestling more than anything.
Nothing wrong with that.
When pro wrestling wasn't on, I was watching that Nicktoons. The Nickelodeons, yes. I was watching all that Nickelodeons, yes. Drake and Josh, I was in that. I was big into the Drake and Josh. Thought it was hilarious. All that, yes, I was watching that. I don't know what else.
Hilarious.
Oh, that was hilarious. iCarly was never funny, but you just watched it.
I never watched iCarly for real. I never got into it.
And then I had a little sister too, and we shared the TV, so I did have to watch a lot of Disney Channel.
Now it makes more sense. Now it makes more sense.
Yeah. It was and my dad didn't let us watch Cartoon Network. He had a beef with them for whatever reason. He just came into there like he would not watch this show. I think he saw Robot Chicken and thought it was a Cartoon Network show.
Oh, Adult Swim is a little different, Dad.
Yeah.
A little different.
But you know what I did watch a ton of, Cole? George Lopez reruns on Nick at Night.
Facts. Hey, you ever wake up in the middle of the night and just hear that? Dun, 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 dun,
he jumping on the trampoline.
Yeah.
Oh my right. Is a little. I used to be out here trying to act like George Lopez. I'm like, I ain't even Spanish or nothing, dog. Like, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, have me out here appropriating cultures at 12. Okay, like
that's how the show gets off track, right?
Yep. Man, this is a good time to end the show. Home Improvement. They used to have Home Improvement on there. They would have a block of television on Nick at Night. It'd be Home Improvement, George Lopez, and The Cosby Show. And I'm like, I see what y'all was trying to do with that block of television.
Hey, in the comments, let us know which channel you was watching as a kid.
Hey, I'm seeing a lot of Victorious, Zoe 101, Fairly Odd Parents. See, look, my people in the chat right
Fairly
here.
Fairly Odd Parents was crazy.
Not you Cartoon Network villains out here. Like, you know who watched Cartoon Network? Bullies. Bullies watch Cartoon Network, dog.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Here we go.
I bet if you did a survey of bullies to Cartoon Network ratio, you would see a lot of that. Like, hey, what's your favorite cartoon? Foster's Imaginary Home. Yeah, it's gonna be something like that. Kids who like Courage the Cowardly, kids who watch Courage the Cowardly Dog flip their eyelids in and inside out and squirted milk out of them. Like, y'all were those kids if you watch those shows.
I think the real villains might have been the Disney crowd, but that's a whole other conversation.
Hey, it depends on what circles you rock it in, Greg. It depends on what circles you rock it in.
I think Greg's right, actually.
If you rock it in more female-dominated circles, the villains were Disney kids.
Yeah.
Straight up. Well, I got 4 sisters, so.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. He knows.
Yeah. He knows. Hey, look, he was rebelling with that Cartoon Network back in the day. Craig was like, I will not watch High School Musical.
I normally lost, but
no, you gonna sit in this living room and watch it. Oh man, I don't even want to know how much Hannah Montana and Sweet Life of Zack and Cody you had to watch Against Your Will.
Yeah, it was. Luckily, they at least liked Courage the Cowardly Dog, so I could normally sneak that one in there. But yeah, a lot of Sweet Life, a lot of Hannah Montana. I recognize a lot of those episodes by heart now, unfortunately.
Professor Chaos says he was into Hanna-Barbera. Like Scooby-Doo.
Hey, no, I really want people in the comments. Were you a Disney kid, a Cartoon Network kid, a Nickelodeon kid, or a combination of the three?
Or if we're doing shout outs, if I could just shout out all my non-cable havers, the PBS kids too.
Ooh. Hey,
PBS
look,
kids.
I didn't have cable at my mama's house. I had cable at my daddy's house. And let me tell you, PBS came in clutch. But also, you know what else came in clutch? The CW. We've already talked about this. The CW. Yes. They will put on Reba, Martin. Everybody Loves Raymond. And then what else? Oh yeah, the Eve show. It was all back to back to back. And then after you get done with that block, a new episode of Everybody Hates Chris. It was like, yo, man, what is this programming block? It's amazing. Sometimes you sit through Sabrina the Teenage Witch to get what's next. Like,
oh, you talking about all the classics now.
Dog, the CW would have episodes of Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Moesha back to back.
Fire.
Just
fire.
Like, and then play an episode of The Parkers.
Fire.
Look, the CW used to put mixtapes on television, dog. Like, straight up. All right.
We just got 3 new super chats, so we might want to wrap this up before we get to crazy.
All right, yeah. Before we get to 3 hours. All right, what are the super chats? Can you read them off, Greg?
Yeah, we got Mike Watch 32 said, "What's your opinion of people who grew up without cable?"
I'm with you, Mike. I grew up without cable.
There's nothing wrong with growing up without cable. It's fine.
It depends on what level of not cable did you have. Did you have not cable, but you had cable? Or did you have not cable and you had to put the little foil on the antenna? You know, that's 2 different levels of it. But I had not cable antenna for a little bit. And then we don't have cable, but we do have cable for a little bit too. Shout out to the cable man. That's a lost art. The man that'll get up on that ladder and steal you some cable. That's a lost art. Can't do that with internet.
We got Kevin Rohr says, "Don't carry us Tony, ... Also, David Njoku should be nicknamed Snowplow."
That's a nasty nickname.
I feel like there's only one way you get that nickname, and I don't want to talk about that on the pod.
By moving people. Cole, by moving, don't do that, Cole. See,
I don't want to talk about it. Listen, what's the last one?
I would say, let's not go with Snowplow.
Yeah,
definitively.
Let's not call him that. Let's not call him
because it either implies one thing or the other, and none of those things. I just nah. We should talk about that. We should just stay away from that one like it's nuclear. To be honest, like, nope. We gonna stay away from that, like Jason Whitlock.
All right. All right. What's the last super chat so we can get out of here?
Last one from RayRags14. Do you guys think Harbaugh will be suspended next year by the NCAA? The NCAA hasn't made a decision on any of the things Michigan has gotten in trouble for yet.
NCAA don't do nothing when it matter.
Nah.
So if this were like,
they need to do it now.
Yeah. Let me tell you something right now, Ray Rags. If this were Tulane, yeah. Michigan, they ain't gonna do nothing that actually has impact. They will give the death penalty to SMU. But if you like one of them big schools, they ain't gonna do shit to you. They not shit. The NCAA ain't nothing to fear. Ain't nothing. They ain't not about to do a single damn thing to Michigan. They not about to save you if you're Ohio State. They about to let that man coach next year, and then they gonna give that man an award.
Or he's gonna go to the NFL.
Don't bring that man to the NFL. I don't feel like covering Jim Harbaugh. But
Chargers.
That would actually, I would love to see him with the Clippers. That would be hilarious. But that's it for QnCOLB. On behalf of Colb and producer Greg, hope y'all appreciated this show. I thought it went well for the first run of this that we've had. Colb, anything else to say before we head out?
Hey man, shout out to all of y'all. Thanks to everybody for rocking with us. We go hopefully make the show a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. And hopefully we will find a way to get this on Spotify for y'all because we know y'all been asking for it, and we will find a way to do that at some point.
Yeah, I gotta do something about that. But y'all have a great day.